Surveyor. Ireland will be kicking us off. They'll be travelling from right to left. Very quickly, Tommy Bowe, can you handle this? We've got 80 minutes. Can you do it?
Sarah, another quarter-final. The stage is set. Ireland as the #1 team in the world up against the ferocious All Blacks. They're here to prove a point. I'm sitting here with Andrew Mertens. I'll shake his hand now. May the best team win.
How you doing, Mertz?
Well, you know what? I've actually got past investing myself fully emotionally in these games. I've seen the All Blacks win. I've seen them lose. I can't wait for this game. We're up against the #1 team in the world. How often do the All Blacks come in as raging underdogs? And there's no shame if they lose to Ireland tonight. What a game in front of us.
Well, your referee tonight is England's Wayne Barnes. It's a fully English refereeing lineup with Tom Foley as the match official, who's going to be watching all of the replays over at Roland Garros. And then on the sides, we've got Matt Carley and Christoph Ridley. Right, can Ireland finally break through their World Cup ceiling and make a semi-final, or will the All Blacks sail through to the last four for an 8th time? They're waiting for the OK to get things underway. Wayne Barnes just checking in with Johnny Sexton. Ireland travelling from right to left. We are underway in Paris. Ireland against New Zealand on 5 Live Sport, your home of the Rugby World Cup. One of these sides will be playing Argentina next Friday in the semi-finals. The other team is going home tomorrow. The All Blacks have the ball. They are inside of their own 22. They're playing from left to right in this first half, and it's an early penalty to New Zealand as Ireland are sent backwards. Now, it seems so silly to say this so early on, but an early penalty for New Zealand, Andrew Mertens, that is a big bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a bonus, and, you know, a little bit surprised, really. Ireland's very well organised, very intelligent defence, and the All Blacks will consider that an absolute bonus, although the kick hasn't been wonderful from Geordie Barrett. He's made maybe 5 metres, but just to get that easy release is a bonus they won't have been looking for.
The nerves as well by Aaron Smith and his pass to the outside man in the channel as well, but I think Wayne Barnes is setting down a marker early on. He's not expecting any messing in the ruck area, so Ireland penalty against him, line out to New Zealand.
Well, Taylor comes in then with the throw-in. It's taken cleanly in the air there by Surveyor. It's Barrett who then tries to power forward. Remember, there's 3 Barretts out on the field there, the ever-impressive family that they are. A real tight kick there by Mwanga. Wasn't what he wanted. It was well charged down there by Ireland. The ball's bouncing around between the two sides. Wayne Barnes says it's all gone backwards. Eventually, he says it is a green knock-on. He's going to come back. It'll be an all-black scrum, and this is still inside of their own territory between the 10 and the 22.
New Zealand looking a little bit twitchy here. 2 passes that they wouldn't have been happy with, certainly in the opening few minutes. 2 kicks that they wouldn't be happy with, certainly early on, but 2 turnovers by Ireland, a penalty against, then a knock-on as well. So kind of giving New Zealand that opportunity to get out of to clear their lines, get out of their own half.
Yeah, we know the Irish defensive line has got a ferocious approach and a speed, but they've actually sent one more player to harass Aaron Smith twice now, and also on the kick to put Richie Mong off, and uncharacteristic inaccuracy from the All Blacks with their kicking game.
Well, the only time a world #1 side lost a quarter-final, it was actually New Zealand back in 2007 when they lost to France in that incredible match in Cardiff. Tommy Bowe alongside me. We're lucky he's watching, to be honest. And there's a huge scrum from Ireland, but it's a penalty that goes New Zealand's way. Wayne Barnes said that it was a turn not straight there from Ireland, and that is a big feather in the cap for New Zealand.
Yeah, well, I'm not really about to analyse a scrum, but it did seem New Zealand somehow held it together. The Irish scrum managed to wheel up to the right, looked like they were probably going to get the penalty, but somehow that All Black pack stayed together, stayed intact, and the penalty went the other way, Tommy.
Really interesting now. So the All Blacks have a line out just outside Ireland's 22. This is a Joe Schmidt special. Offset piece is where New Zealand are so dangerous. I'm really interested to see what he has up his sleeve to take on this and try and open up this Irish defence.
Ireland 0, New Zealand 0. 3 minutes on the clock. It's an All Blacks line-out just outside of the Irish 22. We mentioned Joe Schmidt. He's the former Ireland head coach, as we see a big crash coming through there by Barrett. Ball comes back. It's Surveyor who's going to do some hard work for the forwards. They're just inside of the Irish 22. This is strong then from New Zealand, this World Cup quarter-final. And who is it going to be? The All Blacks. They've been scoring early in a lot of the games, and they're still holding on. Ireland are trying to steal it. Their discipline has been so good at this World Cup, Ireland, but a couple of early penalties now. Will that have unsettled them? Aaron Smith goes in looking for the ball. They're recycling. They're coming again. Sam Cane with the pass out then to Barrett once again. It's Geordie Barrett who passes forward. Now, The All Blacks haven't really gone anywhere. They've gone through a few phases. They've gone through 6, 7 now. It's lateral. It's still all on the 22-metre line. They look for a little bit of an angle there through Ioane, not to be. It's going to stay tight in the forwards. And Retallick is almost getting himself in the way there as they try and get the pass away now to Surveyor. The Hurricanes man who's had to deputise and come in for Kane, who was injured at the start of this tournament. This time it comes in for Cody Taylor. The Crusaders hooker pushes out towards this near side once again. A lot of work coming in by Geordie Barrett, who does make a couple of metres. Cody Taylor goes again now. Now the All Blacks have gone forward. They're going over the gain line, but this is quite hard. Now they're pushing out towards the far side. They're trying to get numbers. They can't get there. They decide to call in a few more troops. They're keeping this so tight. You have to have respect here. 14 phases New Zealand have gone through. So far, Ireland have sucked up every single ball, and there's 10 metres for New Zealand to travel to get to the Irish line. Pushed out round to the far side. It's still New Zealand ball. The discipline here from Ireland is absolutely exceptional as the All Blacks head into now their 17th phase of trying to get the ball somewhere, anywhere. Popped up ball out once again. It's Barrett again. He's going to be dragged into touch. No! Somehow he manages to stay in. That is fantastic work there by the inside centre. All Blacks ball. The green wall is holding. Aaron Smith there just trying to dance his way around. On that occasion, we get to see the likes of Furlong going in, making those all-important tackles. Now it's Fainga Anuku. He was the surprise on the team sheet there for New Zealand. Everyone a bit surprised that Mark Talea didn't get the nod. He was absolutely dropped because of a disciplinary breach as we go around the corner again. 23 phases. 23 phases the All Blacks have managed to clock up. Pushing towards the left wing. Jordan now. He can't get there. 25 years old now, Will Jordan. He's racked up some impressive tries in his time, but none could be more important than if he goes over tonight. Now flooding the left-hand channel, New Zealand. There's absolutely no one out to the right-hand side of the field at all. This is a really tight game that New Zealand are playing. There's no width on this whatsoever. We now move to phase 28. Ireland still not giving away a penalty. The All Blacks still not dropping a ball. The green wall continues to hold. The ball goes down to the floor. Aaron Smith is looking for options on either side. There's the penalty. It's gone New Zealand's way. They can try something now. Crossfield kick comes in by Mo'unga. Underneath it is Jordan. James Lowe is there as well. Jordan can't gather. No one can gather. They'll come back for the penalty. What an exceptional bit of play. We have now got to 6.5 minutes. No score. It'll be a New Zealand penalty. But oh my goodness.
It seemed like 100 phases there. New Zealand, no surprise from them, keeping it very tight, picking and going, trying to muscle up against this Irish time to try and get themselves over their front foot and then condense that Irish defence to try and spread it wide. Ireland will be delighted with their defence. Disappointed to cough up that penalty. It looked like Tyburn just got caught on the wrong side of the ruck and got held in, couldn't get away from it, and an opportunity for New Zealand to get themselves 3 points in front.
Well, Tommy, Tyburn was the first guy that stuck out to me because he was the one who beasted Ardie Savea off the line out. The second phase, Aaron Smith didn't go near the ball. It was always going to be Ardie Savea picking and going as quickly as he could, and Byrne was there to smash him as Mo'unga takes the 3 points. And I don't think, as you say, Ireland will be worried at all about what they've seen there.
No, to be fair, from this New Zealand team, Ireland will be thinking if that's the best that they have to throw at them, they'll be quite confident, particularly running through 30, 40 phases in their 22 and never really putting the Irish team under any pressure defensively. Now it's Ireland's turn to get into the New Zealand half and put them under a bit of pressure.
Well, the defence coach for Ireland, Simon Easterby, he'll be pretty pleased with what's just happened. We're 7 minutes now into this quarter-final. It's Ireland 0, New Zealand 3. A penalty kick by Richie Mo'unga, the difference between the two sides as Sexton gets us back underway. From the halfway line, he sends the ball back down into All Black territory. We haven't really seen an Ireland attack at all yet in this fixture. They just haven't had the ball as it's gathered in the end by Ioane. He takes it just outside of the New Zealand 22. And Aaron Smith there just being told by Wayne Barnes, it's your man that's getting that stuck in that ruck. Just get on, just do it. And Wayne Barnes, of course, quite famously in New Zealand parts, was the referee that day in 2007 when it's the only time that New Zealand haven't got through to the semi-finals of a World Cup. Ball's going to come down inside of... Nobody put a name to it from Ireland. Now, this is rare. That will be a concern. That moment just there. No Irish player put a name on the ball. They've got it, but they let it bounce. Ball comes back, popped off by Henderson. They look up, Sexton is there. Bundy Aki, what a World Cup he has had. He's racked up some statistics. Gibson Park, he sees Sexton hanging out on the far side wing, all on his own at the moment. It's a Ringrose. He manages to go into contact 5 metres from the far side. Ireland going forward between the 10 and the 22. It's a penalty. It's an Irish penalty. And finally an opportunity.
Yeah, quite simple play by Ireland there, just trying to stretch that New Zealand defence, getting out into the far 15, far 5 metre line. There is space out there against this New Zealand defence, and for Ireland, their phase play to get into it, they have to really stretch it. Ireland now going for the corner as opposed to opting for the 3 points. Really a big statement now by Johnny Sexton.
Huge moment, and when I tell you that Ireland, they've scored 27 tries at this World Cup, 15 of them have come from line-outs. How does that make you feel, Andrew Mertens? Line-out 5 metres from the All Black line.
Well, nervous clearly, but it doesn't matter how I feel. It matters how these All Blacks feel. Are they nervous or not? I think they were happy letting that ball go wide from Ireland. Both teams are learning a lot about the opposition's attack and defence at the moment. Be interesting to see what their analysis comes up with to break that down, but good opportunity for Ireland.
Oh, there was a big New Zealand hand in the line out, but it's still come out on the green side. Bundy Aki goes forward, 8 metres to go to the All Black line. It's New Zealand who lead here in the Stade de France by 3 points. We're only just approaching the 10-minute mark. This is a golden opportunity for Ireland, who are only really having their first period of possession. Keenan now manages to get the ball out to low. He can't connect. It goes out of play on this near side, and the pressure is just showing slightly in a way for Ireland that I haven't seen for a while, Tommy Bowe.
Yeah, that's not really textbook Ireland, what we've seen in the last couple of weeks. What we have seen in the last couple of weeks, unfortunately, is Ireland losing the line out. They've luckily got it deflected back into them. We remember against South Africa a couple of weeks ago, South Africa stole 4 of Ireland's first 5 lineouts. They'll want to put that to right in this in the opening half.
Well, once again, it's a New Zealand ball. They're now 10 metres from their own line. They've gone for short numbers in this line-out. Just a 4-man. They've managed to go to the back, taken really nicely that time by Scott Barrett. And it comes out and away, and they just run it up towards the 22-metre line. Still New Zealand ball, who lead here by 3 points. Of course, you're listening to 5 Live Sport. It is, of course, quarter-final weekend at the Rugby World Cup. We already know that Argentina are through. They got their result against Wales earlier, 29 points to 17. The final score there. Tomorrow, of course, what a day we'll also have coming your way. It's going to be England against Fiji, that one at 4 o'clock, as Ireland just hack the ball through. They're trying to get it out of play. It's going to be gathered in the end by Mwanga. Pressure coming in from Mac Hansen. In the end, it forces New Zealand to push it out towards the far side. Ireland thinking about a quick line-out, then change their mind, and it ends up being an Ireland line-out basically on the halfway.
Yeah, Ireland, both teams really looking a little bit edgy at the minute. Not quite the sort of vintage rugby that we've seen from early on in the pool stages. You can tell the pressure of the quarter-final, just trying to feel each other out. It's like the early stages of a boxing match. Not throwing any big haymakers, but both trying to just test each other. Ireland probably the team that haven't really shown much in the opening 11 minutes.
Well, it's fascinating when you look at the possession statistics at the moment. Ireland 16%, New Zealand 84%, but we are only 12 minutes in. We won't get too carried away with that just for now. Halfway line, Irish ball goes in. They do win that line out. That'll give them a little bit of confidence. Sexton manages to find Aki. He's got support who's also flying in the end from Doris. Now there's a huge bit of pressure at the breakdown from the All Blacks, and they win the penalty. Holding on the floor there from Doris. And again, these are the kind of penalties that New Zealand haven't really been winning, and Ireland haven't really been giving them away.
No, it came from a great contact in the tackle. I can't see exactly who that was, but I think they may have got away with a little one there. As that ruck formed, there was some hands went in there on the far side from referee Wayne Barnes, and when that ball eventually didn't come out, the penalty went against Ireland for holding on, but they may have got one. But it all comes down to that dominate. It was Sam Cane who made the hit straight away, and that gets them on the front foot a little bit, the All Blacks, and it really leads to the perception that the referee is given.
Quite a telegraphed back move as well by the Irish backline, maybe looking to set up a few phases later on, but Caelan Doris running straight into Sam Cane there. Textbook tackle by him, put him back on his back, and it was Frizzell, I think, over the ball, stealing an opportunity now for New Zealand to get 6 points ahead.
Well, Geordie Barrett has opted to try and kick this from the halfway line. He's done it before. And this is what we call building a score, an option that Ireland didn't take with their early penalty. They went for the corner. It hasn't paid off. No points on the board. This for a 6-point lead as Geordie Barrett, one of the 3 on the board. Depending on who you talk to, is he the most talented of the Barrett brothers? Never ask the parents. That's what we know as they take the step up. Right then, right boot then from Barrett. It's flying. He's not watching. He knows that's over. It's New Zealand who lead, the 3 times champions, 6 points to 0, and we've only got 13 on the clock. Andrew Mertens.
Yeah, well, he's got a boot like him on a mule. We know that, Geordie Barrett, and in this cold condition, and this is a huge difference from the way the tournament started with the heat in Paris. Significant drop in temperature even just today, and that ball doesn't fly as well. Richie Mo'unga not having the confidence from 49.5 metres. Barrett ate it up easily.
Okay, restart then from Ireland, who are still yet to find the scoreboard in Paris. If you were listening to the grand final a little bit earlier, if we're switching codes for a moment, congratulations go to Wigan Warriors. They managed to overcome Catalan Dragons 10 points to 2 in the end at Old Trafford. Of course, that is the first time in 5 years that Wigan have had that silverware. As the ball comes back now to Ireland, what would they give for not silverware? It's goldware, of course, the Webb Ellis trophy as the ball goes down. But it's a long way to go for Ireland at the moment. 6 points they trail as we're now closing in on 15 minutes here in the first half at the Stade de France. Far side of the field, it's Irish ball, and it's going to be Mac Hansen who has a little bit of a breakaway. He's got support on his shoulder. It's through Gibson Park. Still more Irish players flood over the 22-metre line. They want quick ball. Eventually it comes to Sexton. He has got support on his shoulder. This time it arrives in the form of Porter. They need it quickly. It's slow. There's an all-black foot in there. Referee Wayne Barnes is playing on Doris to Aki. Then we get the big running coming in, this time by Henderson. The Ulster captain getting involved towards this near side. Now it's low. He goes down to ground. Big, hard bit of work coming in. 7 metres for Ireland to go to get something out of this. Henderson passes it back to Sexton. Ball goes down to floor. Gibson Park needs it quickly. This isn't as fast ruck ball as we've seen before from Ireland. Keenan is dragged down to the earth. 5 metres to go. Doris with the dummy run. Comes back this time. Van der Fleer once again using his hands, not taking the contact. Hansen has had to go in. And this is lateral for the time being from Ireland. The crowd going a little bit bananas here. They want to see the green shirts go over. Gibson Park is now caught. That's the opportunity for the All Blacks. They're having to scramble here, Ireland. Will they lose the ball? It's going to come out on the All Blacks side. They play on, they hack it away. It's going to come down to James Lowe. He has to watch it go out of play, and the All Blacks survive.
New Zealand seem to be getting away with murder in the ruck there. Ireland making good use of the short side, trying to get down, stretching that All Black defence, but can't get the sort of speed of ball that they've been used to so far in this competition.
Well, there are a couple of examples there where Wayne Barnes didn't give a penalty to Ireland, particularly when James Lowe ran over the top of Beauden Barrett. Barrett was caught underneath and he couldn't get out of the way. The crowd was baying for a penalty, didn't get conceded, and then Gibson Park, I think he was trying to milk a penalty. He half-heartedly did that pick and go. Again, Wayne Barnes said, I've got to be a little cynical about that. I'm not giving you a penalty.
Well, Ireland have got to go again. They're back outside the 22. All that effort. Bundy Aki just pushing his way through. The Connaught man, Auckland-born, of course, but he's made that green shirt his own. What a World Cup he's had so far. 4 tries he's already managed to put together at this World Cup, and it's a penalty to New Zealand. Nothing is going the Irish way. Everything at the moment is black.
And that one was probably deserved. 3 phases in, and the All Blacks have really been noticeably targeting only every 3rd or 4th tackle when they feel there's an Irish attacker getting isolated. They went in there straight away. Sam Cane got all over the ball when he noticed there wasn't support close. So they're playing it smart, and like I say, the picture that Wayne Barnes is getting given is leading him to penalise against the Irish.
Yeah, they've absolutely done their homework on this Irish team. They can see that every 2nd, 3rd phase, Ireland are setting up out wide and not resourcing that ruck. Sam Cane, very impressive, getting over that ball. Andrew Porter tried to clobber him, but unfortunately he was just that bit too late.
And the chop tackle, I think it was Artie Savia who made that tackle straight to ground. There was no delay between the contact and the stealing the ball.
Well, it's the All Blacks who are back in full flight at the right end of the field. If you are a New Zealand fan, they are just over the 10-metre line. Big box hit comes in from Aaron Smith. Underneath it is Lowe. He does call for the mark in the end. You are listening to 5 Live Sport as we're focusing on everything World Cup quarter-finals this weekend. Ireland against New Zealand. It's Ireland 0, New Zealand 6. We've got Andrew Mertens, 95 World Cup finalist with New Zealand, here with us as we see the ball hacked on by Bowden Barrett. A huge tackle put in on him in the end by James Lowe. Barrett's okay, he's slowly getting back, but it's still a black ball as they're working towards the far side. It's going to be knocked on in the end by New Zealand out on the far side. Has it gone over? No, it's not going to be completed. It's not been knocked on. They're going to give the try. New Zealand go over in the corner. Smiles all round. And it is Leicester Fainga'a-Anuku who gets his try.
Well, it was the genius of Bowden Barrett that started that try. Instead of putting up the bomb, which he looked like he was going to do, a little chip kick, he followed through, got hit in a pretty solid tackle, somehow managed to retain that possession, get it back for the All Blacks. They moved it quickly left, and it was Fainga'a-Anuku combining with Richie Mo'unga out on the far side, I think, who popped it back on the inside. No, it was Rieko Ioane, sorry. An interchange between the two. Quick hands. May have been a question mark over that last pass, Tommy.
Looks like it could potentially be flat, not forward. Wayne Barnes doesn't seem to be looking at it. The TMO obviously is happy with a nice play, transition play by New Zealand. That is exactly where they're so dangerous. Bowden Barrett in the backfield, lovely little chip over the top, regathers, and that quick ball for New Zealand. They're so dangerous out wide.
Well, all eyes now on Richie Mo'unga, 5 metres out from the far side of the field. He's absolutely sweating buckets out there already. I mean, the temperature has dropped significantly, as Andrew Mertens alluded to a little bit earlier here in Paris. The first time I've actually had to put on a coat and a jumper since I've been at this World Cup. But the effort going into this fixture is off the scale from these two sides. Yeah,
this Irish team are certainly sweating at the minute because this is an opportunity for them to go, New Zealand to go 13 points ahead. Yes, Mo'unga has got it. The pressure now is on this Irish team to get themselves into the New Zealand half and try and exert them in on this, we haven't seen anything from them in the opening 20 minutes.
No, they still haven't fired a shot yet. And I don't know if this is a good or a bad time to say, Tommy Bay, you did say to me before this match started, if Ireland lost this, you'd never watch another quarter-final with Ireland ever again.
I'm never coming back, Sarah. I can't deal with it.
Right then, Ireland 0, New Zealand 13. A penalty for Ireland. It's right in front of the post. It was from the restart. I will be surprised with whatever decision Johnny Sexton makes here, because you wouldn't bet against them going for the corner, but also he knows they've got to rack a score, go for the post.
Need to get themselves onto the scoreboard here. Yeah, have to put it back into 10 points. Ireland just need to regather themselves, get them set up, get them onto the scoreboard and just take a breath. They knew that New Zealand were going to come at them early doors. They knew that there was going to be a moment where things weren't going to go their own way. And this is the show of the number one team in the world. Can they deal with adversity? They haven't really had to deal with it so far in this competition. And if you want to win a World Cup quarter-final for the first time ever, you're going to have to pull something special out of the bag.
Well, there is no man in the Northern Hemisphere who has beaten the All Blacks more times than Johnny Sexton. That's whether he's wearing a green shirt or he's also worn a Lions shirt as well. So he knows what it feels like, better than perhaps anyone else, of how the job has got to be done, as he lines up this penalty right in front. He's just about 5 metres behind the 22-metre line. The shot clock is now down to 16 seconds. We'll see how much further he lets that wind down. Eventually his yellow boots are shuffled side to side, right boot high into the sky. Ireland are on the board in the quarter-final, but it's still a 10-point ball game. It's Ireland 3, New Zealand 13.
Yeah, good moment for Ireland to break that sequence of All Blacks scoring. An unnecessary penalty from the All Blacks. The kick had gone far enough. Bodie Barrett had it covered, and Shannon Frizzell just clumsily getting across to take out an Irish player. They'll be annoyed at that.
Restart then for New Zealand, who are rushing up into Irish faces to take this ball. Doris gathers out on the far side, so Ireland have it 5 metres from the far side touch, just on their own 22-metre line. So they're stuck in a bit of a corner at the moment. Comes back from Gibson Park. Sexton not interested in the kick. Keenan with the pass out wide. Ringrose finds Lowe. He eventually uses that left boot down this near side touch. Underneath it, Bowden Barrett gathers it nicely outside of the All Blacks 22. He's got Mo'unga in support. High ball into the air. Not too much length on it. He's chasing it himself, and it's taken in the end by Keenan. New Zealand players arrive, but they're not really contesting it. They're just slowing it down. They just try and get rid of a black shirt. And there's a warning there we've heard coming from the television match official. I'm not sure if that's going to be looked at by Barnes. Comes now to Porter. Irish ball closing in on the halfway line. Ireland 3, New Zealand 13. It's another Irish penalty.
Tom, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, did you not hear me? It was Retallick.
Can you hear me, Christoph?
Can you hear me?
No, can you hear me? Press the button.
Okay, a little bit of miscommunication between the referees, and
just 1 second, please.
They're going to have to do a little bit of battery changes here, so there was a little bit of miss there. We heard it, but Wayne Barnes can't.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think Wayne Barnes has not heard any comms for the opening 20 minutes. That's what's going wrong for Ireland so far. But yeah, a bit of a miscommunication here between the match officials. It looked like Bundy Aki, he kind of was signalling a high tackle on him. He certainly made a bit of a song and dance out of it, so we're seeing a replay of it now. That could be questionable here. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but he's certainly making it look like he's been hit on the chin.
Yeah, I may sound biased here. It was Richie Mo'unga coming across, and Aki lowered his head at the moment of impact as well. He did make a song and a dance about it, which you're going to probably do these days because it's a bit of a toss-up, and you know, it can go from being completely benign and nothing to a yellow/red card at any moment. He flicked his head back quickly, landed on the ground to play the ball, hoping, I guess, that it'll bring some attention on the incident.
And Bundy Aki, not the tallest of centres out there as well. He did dip into it. He's obviously questioned whether Mo'unga dipped below the horizontal as well to really try and look like he was going to get him around the waist, chest area, but looks like Wayne Barnes and the third official aren't going to assess it.
We haven't seen another review of it yet, but it could have also been that Mo'unga's initial contact hit the top of the chest first, then went up to Aki.
Well, we're led to believe they'll definitely be looking at it now, taking the time while Ireland looks for the line out. I think it's still one of those things where players are going to be nervous. You know, it's a bit of a lottery and it's loaded against them. So, you know, you've got to be so careful.
Okay, so it was an Irish penalty. It was back behind the halfway. It wasn't in the middle. It would have been a real tricky one to try and go for goals. So they've kicked down this near left-hand touch. It's going to be a line out just inside of the All Blacks 22. The secret whisper has gone into the air of Dan Sheehan, the Leinster man, who, of course, he was nominated for World Breakthrough Player of the Year back in 2022. One of the Andy Farrell players that's been brought through, but it's been stolen by the All Blacks. The line-out is not functioning for Ireland. It's been charged down the kick, though, by Mo'unga. This is such a scrap. Byrne has it for Ireland. They've managed to get it back. They need to think on their feet. Doris can't take it. The mistakes from Ireland are absolutely baffling right now. They do have it, but it's not in any way by design. It's bubbled out the back for Gibson Park to gather. This is so unusual. We have not seen this Ireland for over a year now, as it goes forward now by Van der Fleer. It is not a clean game from them. They've gone back behind the 22. This time it goes back for Keenan. He's trying to get away. It's been hacked on the end. There's a chase ball, not going to be. The All Blacks touch it down just over inside of their try line. It's going to be a goal line dropout for a restart.
And the line-out's still a concern for Ireland. They may as well have called that throwing straight to, I think it was Frizzell who got up there. The All Black line-out just plucked that as if it was perfectly called for them. So they've got to come up with a solution pretty quickly.
Yeah, Paul O'Connell, who's the line-out coach with Ireland, will be scratching his head there at the minute with Dan Sheehan's throw-in, because, as you say, it seemed like it was a New Zealand line-out. He threw it straight to him. Ireland still just struggling to deal with the physicality of this New Zealand side.
Okay, goal line dropout from New Zealand, who lead here at the Stade de France. 13 points to 3, 25 minutes played. Now, the 20 minutes in the build-up to half-time is normally when Ireland really rack up the points in games. And if they're going to do that, they're going to have to start doing it pretty quickly. Gibson Park gathers, manages to find Ringrose. Oh, what a great take by Hugo Keenan. Was it forward, though, from Ringrose? It was a really delayed pass. Gibson Park once again. This time he finds Henderson. He tries to push his way forward as the field's an Athenry once again rings out around the Stade de France. Here comes Bundy Aki. He manages to absolutely bulldoze his way over the 22. Gibson Park wants quicker ball. It's penalty advantage. He goes for a snipe round the corner because he knows he's got his penalty in his back pocket. This is really loose, scrappy play. Doesn't matter because they can come back. Hansen now, a little bit of footwork, born in Australia, but once again, he's very happy in a green shirt now as they push towards the far side wing. Irish ball. They recycle, they go again. 8 phases, and there's space out here. New Zealand start breaking it down. Hugo Keenan is isolated Gibson Park gathers once again. The Irish players finally arrive. The weight, the heft of Furlong tries to push it towards their ultimate goal, the try line. It's still not coming yet. Gibson Park, this time he manages to find Peter O'Mahony, the Munster man, currently a URC champion, but he'd like more silverware. As it comes this time to Bundy. Aki, once again it's Aki! He goes over for Ireland, his 5th try of this Rugby World Cup, and finally Ireland have found a way to get themselves into this. It's now Ireland 8, New Zealand 13, conversion to come.
This is more like it from the Irish team, making a break down the right-hand side, forcing New Zealand to commit a penalty. I thought that Gibson Park was wanting the penalty, Wayne Barnes almost forcing him to keep on playing, but Ireland just showing in multi-phase when they do hold on to the ball, they can cause this New Zealand defence. New Zealand would be very disappointed with that. Bundy Aki breaking through 3-4 tackles. Yes, quite soft.
He straightened up, didn't he, Tommy? They all looked like they were, you know, it's like they hadn't seen what Bundy Aki does. They were all covering tackles for the outside. Even Rieko Ioane's got the more speed than anyone, was covering already. Aki broke inside him, then inside Frizzell as well. Just straightened up and used his tank-like qualities.
Well, showing why Bundy Aki has been one of the players of the competition, certainly in a green jersey this year. I think he has 3 player of the matches already in this competition, and if Ireland are want to be successful, they need their big players to step up, and he is one of them.
Well, the opening 20 minutes were all about the All Blacks. Ireland, though, they have finally found a little bit of form. They've strung some points together. It's now Ireland 10, New Zealand 13. Sexton now with 2 kicks at goal, nice and clean. Is this starting to calm the nerves finally, Tommy Bowe?
Ireland still but trailing by 3 points at the minute, but they do show that when they can go through multi-phases and get into that New Zealand 22, they can cause some problems. They still have to deal with the physicality of this New Zealand pack, though, and how much they are slowing down the Irish ball.
When it's only a 3-point game in quarterfinals, we start talking about things like extra time and golden extra time and place kicking contests, but I will save all of that for the second half, is the good news, as we get another breakaway from Ireland. They're trying to play their way at the moment out of their own half, which we don't often see. Normally they just put boot to ball and get rid of it. So are they slightly adapting the game plan here? No, eventually goes back to Sexton, uses that right boot to send it down the field. Here comes Beauden Barrett, 2 times World Player of the Year, rushing towards the halfway line. He puts it high into there. They're trying to force Ireland into these mistakes as it comes down to Aaron Smith, gathered in the end this time by De Groot. He's missed the last couple of games. He got a red card in their fixture against Namibia, given a ban, but it was reduced for good behaviour and tackle school as it's pushed towards the far side of the field. Still All Blacks ball as they approach the Irish 22-metre line. Ireland 10, New Zealand 13 as we close in on 30 minutes here in this quarter-final. The right to play Argentina back here next Friday. Who's it going to be? Ireland have never got to that kind of level at a World Cup before. The story is too familiar as it's loose from the All Blacks. They've lost it backwards. Barrett back towards the halfway. He hacks it through on the end. He knows he's got to tidy up the mistake. It's gathered by Keenan, who's under pressure now from the arriving Barrett. It's sent away down the field, gathered by Mwanga. And he's out hanging around on the 10-metre for the time being. Will Jordan now. He's just stretching his legs, trying to work his way through. One of the many All Blacks who's come through Christchurch Boys High School. A very esteemed role they have there. Well, boys who've gone on as the bounce of the ball ends up in the hands of Surveyor. Classy stuff here by New Zealand, who've managed to work their way back into the Irish 22. This time Jordan decides to fly once again. Everyone just stopped, looked at the ball. In the end, it's gone in, it's stuck, it's an Irish ball. New Zealand got stuck in there, and Ireland will finally clear their lines. Big turnover by Caelan Doris on the 22, just in front of the Irish posts. New Zealand causing them a huge amount of problem with the little chips over the top. I was very surprised by Johnny Sexton when exiting, kicking it straight down the throat of Beauden Barrett. He is the last man you want to put the ball into his hands with so much space in front of him. He put that earlier on in the game. He did the little chip over the top, regathered. This time he went a bit higher, regathered again. New Zealand getting great dividends, just those little chips, putting it behind Ireland and turning them round. Well, Ireland have kicked the penalty down the near side touch. They'll get a line out just inside of All Blacks territory. And I did say that Ireland, they do tend to score their points in that sort of like this period exactly here, the 20 minutes in the build up to half line. They also tend to finish strong, but New Zealand, they're quite similar. They've scored 63 points more at a Rugby World Cup, but the difference is probably in that number, in the opposition they've actually faced, and that's what's got to be taken into account here. A lot of concern was that maybe New Zealand coming to this, they just hadn't had the opposition, and that's another line out that hasn't functioned for Ireland. This will be a concern. New Zealand have got the ball. They're happy with a little bit of contact there. Yeah, that's been called in there by a television match official as well, as the ball comes out of play on this near side. Is it a 50-22? Yes, it is. New Zealand will get the ball. Wonderful play there by the All Blacks, who are now in a fabulous position. 8 minutes to go to half-time.
Well, it must have been close there from that ruck. It must have just been inside the All Blacks half, but they knew James Lowe from the left wing had been taken out in that first phase. He made the tackle. There was some calls from the New Zealanders in the crowd. Perhaps it was high, but it went straight out to Jordan, who popped it where James Lowe would normally be covering. Smart play from the All Blacks. They really look like they have done their homework tonight well on the Irish.
Again, Ireland's defence line out under serious pressure from New Zealand.
And New Zealand's taken the line out. They've gone short. They're not driving this one. They've gone through the middle. They've managed to get it this time to Ioane. He pushes on. Still Ioane on the floor. They recycle. They go once again. That's a big, powerful run by New Zealand. That's inches short of the try line. They want another. They lead by 3 here in the quarterfinal. Stolen ball, not to be on this occasion. Still New Zealand have it. They're screaming for it on this near side. They push it out wide. Who's waiting out there? It's over by Surveyor. It's given straight away by Wayne Barnes. The All Blacks have got 2, and the man mountain that is Ardi Surveyor, the Hurricanes number 8, crashes over with no one there to take him.
Well, it was something that the All Blacks couldn't do against France in the opening match. They spent plenty of time in the 22, couldn't get over. I was looking for Shannon Frizzell. He's the guy who normally tracks Aaron Smith. I'm sure the Irish defence was looking for him, as well as also Scott Barrett, who was lined up. But in the end, it switched back, and good hands from Will Jordan, and eventually found its way out to Ardi Surveyor in space.
Very clever play by the All Blacks. It all started from an Irish line out on the halfway line. It got turned over. New Zealand put themselves at 50-22 into the Irish half, and simple play by them, very direct up through the middle, kept their width on the short side, and super handling to put Surveyor away in the corner.
That pass swinging back just missed. I think it was Bodie Barrett, but it ended up going to Will Jordan. He flicked it on out to Rieko Ioane. Quick hands to Ardi Surveyor, and a theatrical dive, which it needed to be, because Lowe was screaming across in defence. That big dive into the corner.
New Zealand definitely putting this Irish defence under pressure, trying to go physical, very direct up the middle, sucking in the Irish defence. And this time, which we didn't see earlier on in the match when they went through those 30-40 phases, they kept their width there, and 2 slick passes opened up a big amount of space in the corner.
Mo'unga's just missed his first of the evening, so it remains Ireland 10, New Zealand 18. That was a difficult one to turn around from this near side. You took a few kicks in your time, Andrew Mertens. Talk us through that miss.
Yeah, well, it is a tough one. I mean, it's sort of a bonus when you're out that far on the sideline. Nobody expects you to get it. Sometimes that can mean there's less pressure.
We all
the so-called
expected
easy
you to
ones.
get it, man.
I'll tell you what, I didn't. Nobody who knew me well did.
The voice of Andrew Mertens here with us on 5 Live. Also, Tommy Boat, as we wait to see who is going through to the World Cup semi-finals to take on Argentina. It's Ireland 10, New Zealand 18. It's an Irish ball as we're starting to close in now on half-time. 5 minutes to go. Ireland would dearly love a few more points on the board to keep this scoreline respectable. They're going through the middle of the park for the time being. They just haven't had as quick ball as they used to. A little bit of a hesitation again by Gibson Park. We've seen a lot of that so far in this fixture. He switched direction at the last moment and decides to go out towards the right-hand wing. Gibson Park is stuck in there. Slow ball again. Comes now to Sexton. Doris has to put his body on the line and take in a few black shirts. Still playing between the 10 and the 22, and it's Ireland ball. That's better from them. They've just managed to make those connections. Van der Fleer. He's now down on the ground, approaching that All Black 22-metre line. The promised land is still a long way away here for Ireland, but it's building in a better fashion. Gibson Park goes in to gather. They've enjoyed more possession all of a sudden after what was sheer dominance from the All Blacks in the opening moments of this game. Mac Hansen nearly breaks away, gets the ball away to Gibson Park, who drops it on the floor. And we'll restart then It's going to be... Okay, so first of all, it was a knock-on, but it's a penalty for Ireland. First of all, there's a little bit of afters going on the ground as well. And they're just going to wait for everyone to get back off the floor. It's Brodie Retallick down there, and I don't fancy James Lowe's chances in that, so hopefully James Lowe just going to walk away.
Yeah, Ireland getting dividends when they go to the width, when they try to take New Zealand on up through the middle. The defence is ferocious. Some huge tackles going in on the likes of Byrne, Doris, Henderson. New Zealand more than a match in the middle, but once they do try to get into the 15s, they're getting a lot more dividends, and they'll be delighted.
Let's just listen in here to Wayne Barnes.
The deliberate knock-on first, and then we'll show you the cover situation for everything thereafter, okay?
Thanks very much.
The deliberate knock-on's coming now.
Okay, a lot going on here, and all eyes on Aaron Smith, the All Blacks scrum half.
Here's the deliberate knock-on.
Okay, so he stuck his arm out, he is beaten, so we're on a penalty, but now we need to...
situation now, here we go, this is the best.
Okay, so they've already seen a deliberate knock-on by Aaron Smith.
Decent opportunity of a line break, and though there is a defender covering, so it's nothing more, but it is a yellow card, yeah?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, big moment then. Yellow card then for Aaron Smith.
Give you the mark.
Already a 2015 world champion, playing it at his third World Cup. This is a significant 10 minutes. If I ask you your thoughts, Andrew Mertens, on how New Zealand react to that, I don't think you agreed with that decision.
No, I don't, but I'm going to be accused of bias there as well. I think when you slow those images down, they're all going to look terrible. If you look at that in real speed, that's not a deliberate knock-on. But anyway, you know the risks now. Throwing out a hand, you run that risk, don't you? So I don't agree with it, but anyway, that's what New Zealand does now. What do you do when you're down a man for 10 minutes? You slow everything down as much as possible. You reset scrums, you look for line-outs, you don't kick the ball away, you hold on to the ball if you're the All Blacks. If you're Irish, a little bit of pressure goes on to score some points.
As you just said, Sarah, these are the moments when Ireland normally score their points. They've a line out now in the 22 and they've won it.
And New Zealand don't even go up and contest it. They've just thrown everybody here to stop this maul from moving. It's Ireland 10, New Zealand 18, but New Zealand down to 14 with Smith in the bin. This maul is crabbing to the left-hand side. Aki now has it. Remember, there's an extra green shirt on the field. The ball comes quickly. They push it towards this time Ringrose. He's down on the floor. They're waiting for it to emerge. It's slow. It's not coming yet. There's an appeal for a penalty. They get it. It's an Irish penalty. New Zealand push back once again. They will have to be careful here, as once again Sexton not even looking at the post. He's going to drop this straight in the corner.
Yeah, New Zealand really going after that ruck there. Ardy Seve, I think it was, who gave a silly penalty, really frustrating inside his 22, trying to disrupt this Irish breakdown. Ireland now gone into the corner again. Will New Zealand compete in the line out, or will they put Ireland under that pressure where we've seen earlier on in this half?
Okay, Ireland have won 4 line-outs. This would be a good one to get. Once again, New Zealand don't even put a man into the air to try and contest it. They just keep bodies on the floor, feet to the ground, to make sure the maul doesn't move. They know the threat that the Ireland present in this position. It's going to be warned there. Gibson Park has to go. He's sniped round. He's a metre short. Is he over? Yes! Gibson Park goes over. The game is on here in this quarter-final. Ireland have cracked their way back into it after New Zealand got a yellow card. It's now Ireland 15, New Zealand 18, conversion to come.
A brilliant snipe there by Jamison Gibson Park. Wonderful line out maul. Ireland had such success against the All Blacks back in the autumn tour, scored a number of tries there. New Zealand are obviously well matched for that. Really nothing between the two packs in the maul, but Gibson Park, wonderful snipe, 2 men on his shoulder, lots of options, and he sniped in and just slid over the line with 3 people looked like hanging on to him. Ireland back in the game.
Well, a direct result of not having Aaron Smith there, cover tackling from 9. A good drive from the Irish, but a good defence from the All Blacks as well, so they really held them up. But Gibson Park, knowing there's no secondary cover, I wondered if a rubber kick might have been on if it came out to Sexton, knowing there's no 9 covering for the All Blacks. So immediate effect from that yellow card, and I think Ardy Savea really was pushing that a little bit far, giving away that penalty, because that could have quite conceivably been a card too.
Silence goes around the Stade de France. We haven't said that often here.
Big kick.
Huge kick here. 15 metres out from the near side. Johnny Sexton to make this a 1-point game. We think they're going to have time for the restart as well. Here it comes. It's sailing. It's through. Of course it's through. He's still on 100% with his kicks. It is now Ireland 17, New Zealand 18. And when you think that New Zealand were leading this game by 13 clear points with no score on the board, possession is now 50-50. Ireland have turned this around.
Yeah. Incredibly, Ireland coming back from 13-0 back to just 1 point, but they need to get their noses in front. This happened back in 2015, an early onslaught by Argentina. Ireland got themselves back into the game. We're still trailing by that 1 point, couldn't get ahead, and Argentina went on to win that. It's so important to win at half-time, hopefully, from an Irish point of view, with their noses in front.
Well, Caelan Doris has gathered for Ireland, and Ireland are playing. They're going through at least one phase. Are they going to get this off the field? The clock is in the red. They are still playing. They want to go. They want to go in at half-time up. No, they don't. Eventually, it goes back to Sexton. He sends it out of play. What a very sensible decision. And what a half of rugby. What a pendulum swing from one direction to the other. The game is on. Who is going to face Argentina? Nobody knows. Alongside us here, Andrew Mertens. How has your confidence levels gone up and down?
Look, it hasn't changed a lot, to be honest. I certainly wasn't feeling relaxed at 13-0 because really it's only one converted try. You know, the penalties come and go for either side, but there was only really one try. To see Ireland compose themselves and come back into it is absolutely no surprise. No New Zealanders, certainly not the All Blacks, were relaxing at that point. So I think we've got a great game on our hands, of course.
Unbelievable. Quarter-final, the match that everybody was talking about, to think that it's just down to 1 point at half-time. It's exactly what we wanted. Is on a knife edge. New Zealand have done their homework in this Irish team. They have put them to the sword, but Ireland are right back in it.
Tense times here for New Zealand fans, for Ireland fans. There's still 40 minutes to go here on 5 Live. And as it stands, with a man in the bin for New Zealand, it is still just their game. It's Ireland 17, New Zealand 18.
Wow, 35 points, 3 tries, including a great individual try and a great team try, a yellow card which not everybody agrees with, Andrew. That first half had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, look, I showed my subjectivity, of course, but that's the line that you walk with these referees, and New Zealand now have to manage another, the opening stanza of the second half without Aaron Smith. But when he comes back on, that will be a massive boost to them if they can still restrict Ireland to no more tries.
To be fair, I do agree with you in the deliberate knock-on being a yellow card. It is a really tough penalty, but the players know that. His hand was clearly out, and it was a fingertip. And that disrupted the pass going to Gibson Park, who would have made a line break. He wouldn't have scored a try. Is it deserving of a yellow card? Maybe not. A penalty deep in the New Zealand 22 probably would have been sufficient. But it is that little bit of rub of the green that this Irish team have needed to get themselves right back into this contest.
And to be fair, at the start of the game, the All Blacks far and away had the rub of the green as well. So that sort of, in that context, it does even out. And we've got an even game. You couldn't say that one team deserves to go in 10 points up, can you, in this game?
Tommy, one of the things I thought was really impressive about Ireland is in the early stages when New Zealand started to rack up the points, there was a little bit of me thinking, well, is this because it's knockout World Cup rugby? Is this the difference between how this Ireland team have grown from 12 months ago and winning a series in New Zealand? Is this why they struggle in the quarterfinals? Loads of teams would have needed a half-time break to reset themselves. Ireland did that on the fly at a really difficult point of the game.
Yeah, they're struggling at set piece, they're struggling in the line-out, but they have to be able to adapt. You can't wait till half-time for the coaches to tell you what you got to do different. This is why this Irish team is so impressive, that they have leaders on the pitch that make decisions that enable them to get themselves back into the game again. And certainly it's not what they would have wanted at the start of a quarter-final, to go 13 points down. And maybe Irish teams in the past, the demons in the back of their mind, things aren't going their own way. It's easy to cop up silly penalties, but they haven't. They've regrouped, they've taken a breath, they've got themselves right back into the game again, and played some wonderful rugby as well. When they do play the rugby that we've seen so much in this World Cup, and the ball does stick, they get to the outside channels, they can cause teams so much trouble, and they've shown that they can really hurt New Zealand when they do that right.
The other thing that's absolutely fascinating to me, Andrew, is that you've got these two incredibly well-schooled, well-drilled teams, but every so often it is just a flash of individual brilliance that can make such a big difference. Bundyaki, for example, Sarah was saying in commentary, Ireland are not clicking the way that they normally click. He gets the ball, individual brilliance makes all the difference.
Yeah, and that's all you need sometimes. You just need to take those little moments and make them count. And that's what the research teams will have been doing with the first half, and particularly that sequence where the All Blacks went through sort of 30 phases. Sometimes it's only a little tweak. It's only like, well, instead of putting Shannon Frizzell here, maybe we put him one further out, and he's going to be on a different type of defender. So both Ireland and New Zealand will be working hard to find the slightest little advantage possible. And even if it's only a weak shoulder or a bit of a mismatch on one attacker versus a defender, that could be enough to get an extra 2 or 3 metres and get them on the front foot. And the All Blacks, I think, will have thought we need to put this away against Ireland after 4 or 5 phases. The longer they go on, the more they give Ireland the chance to steal the ball. So I think the All Blacks, that's why we saw that second try. They wanted to crack the whip after 3 or 4 phases.
And that's exactly what you said, Steve. It's that individual brilliance. In the pool stages, it's all about being a team, being a collective. But these matches, the best teams are playing against each other. So both teams generally will cancel each other out. And that's where the star players come to the fore in the World Cup. That's why you remember the Johnny Wilkinsons with the drop goals, the Andrew Mertens, the guys who get their team over the line. And that's why...
That's with a missed drop goal. That could be equally significant, can't it?
Oh, sorry.
That's enough about 1995. We'll forget the World Cup final in 1995. Guys, absolutely fascinating. Thank you very much. What an unbelievable match we have here. Remember, Argentina await in the semi-finals after their victory over Wales. Half-time here inside the Stade de France. Ireland 17, New Zealand 18. Stay with us. The second half is on the way on 5 Live. Let's get the latest news now with Carl Hartley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has told troops stationed on the border of Gaza the next stage is coming. Israel has been attacking the territory with airstrikes, killing thousands of Palestinians since Hamas gunmen killed around 1,300 Israelis last weekend. The Israel Defense Forces have confirmed that they're preparing for a comprehensive offensive. Our correspondent in Jerusalem, Tom Bateman, has been looking over their statement.
This would involve assets that they've got in place over land, sea and air. They talk about in quite a lot of detail the logistics operation, basically getting kit, ammunition, weaponry to the soldiers at the front line. They say that is basically done as far as they're concerned, but they're going to still need to get more to the troops. But I read this as them saying that they have most of their plans ready.
The World Health Organization has called for Israel to protect health facilities, health workers, patients and civilians, while aid agencies have warned that clean drinking water is running out and residents are at risk of dying from dehydration. Yasmin Hamid is from Human Rights Watch.
We are very afraid that what we are looking to now is a humanitarian catastrophe on the scale that we have never seen in Gaza before. We need global leaders to be, yes, reiterating that there's a right to self-defense, but being very, very clear that they cannot attack civilians.
Israel has warned Palestinians living in the north of Gaza to evacuate south. Secretary-General of the Norwegian Refugee Council, Jens Engelland, says those orders are a war crime, but barrister and international law expert Natasha Hasdorf disputes this.
In this operation, as in previous operations, they uphold international law. In fact, they go above the requirements of international law. And so far as proportionality is concerned, international law simply requires Israel to try to minimize the number of civilian casualties per strike, which the IDF is doing, including through the use of targeted precision strikes and by warning civilians to leave certain neighborhoods.
Here, thousands of people across the UK have been taking part in protests to show their solidarity with Palestinians. The Metropolitan Police say 7 people were arrested at the march in London. The organisers say around 100,000 people attended. Other news, and France is deploying thousands of soldiers to work alongside police after a teacher was stabbed to death yesterday. The government has described the killing in Arras as an act of Islamist terrorism and instructed security forces to step up patrols on the country's streets. The Democratic Unionist leader Sir Geoffrey Donaldson has said that power sharing is essential for securing Northern Ireland's future within the UK. The DUP has been vetoing the formation of a power sharing devolved government at Stormont for 18 months in protest against Brexit trading arrangements. And voters in Australia have overwhelmingly rejected a plan to give greater rights to the country's Indigenous people.
Radio 1's Live Lounge Month
is back.
Live Lounge to us is such a big thing.
Celebrate the return of this iconic gig and relive classic performances in back-to-back sounds.
Check. Okay, let's do it.
Including
Olivia Rodrigo.
Whatever, it's fine.
Usher. Becky Hill.
Plus loads more.
Radio 1's Live Lounge Month.
Thank you for having us.
Search Live Lounge Month on BBC Sounds. Every game live.
Rugby World Cup 2023 on 5 Live, Radio 5 Sports Extra and the BBC Sport website with Steve Crossman.
Half-time in the quarter-final here at the Stade de France. Ireland 17, New Zealand 18. One of the great things about the Rugby World Cup, better than the football, for example, is that you can see inside the dressing rooms at the interval. I'm looking at pictures of Johnny Sexton, the Ireland captain, with all his teammates surrounding him, hanging on his every word. His words have never been more important. We have an absolutely huge second half on the way here on 5 Live. Already today, Wigan Warriors have won their 6th Super League Grand Final, beating Catalan Dragons 10-2 at Old Trafford. Wigan try scorer Liam Marshall has been speaking to Matt Newsom.
Liam, trying a grand final, you're making a habit of this.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Playing on the wing, you get a chance to score tries, and yeah, it was down to the credit to the boys inside me that set that one up. It was just a fall over the line, but no, an incredible group of lads turned up for each other all day. I think once we got in front, I couldn't see us losing, and to keep them to no tries today was absolutely outstanding.
You in particular have had to be really patient for your chance to play at this. What does it mean then to be stood here right now?
It's probably not words I can sum up the. Like I said, I missed out in 2018 through injury, and I think it's the 7th year at Wigan now. So to only get this chance now, and it's unbelievable. To come to this great stadium and win a final for my hometown team is absolutely brilliant. All my family back home, all the family at the ground are absolutely buzzing for me, and just can't wait to get a beer and celebrate tonight.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, this has been 5 years in the making, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I never thought back in the day that I'd be here playing in the grand final for my hometown team, and yeah, I managed to get there and get a win. It's just an amazing feeling. I think we're still overawed with so many emotions right now. I think it'll set in over the next couple of days, but what a team, and we can hopefully start something special with this group and go on to win some more silverware.
That's Liam Marshall with Matt Newsom. Back to the Rugby Union. Argentina are going to play the winner of tonight's match after they knocked Wales out of the World Cup, 29 points to 17, the final score in the first of the quarterfinals. Here's the Wales boss, Warren Gatland.
We're incredibly disappointed. I don't want to take anything away from Argentina in terms of their performance. They are a tough team to put away, and they hung in the fight, kept going. It was an incredibly physical test match, which really could have gone any way. So probably for us, we weren't quite at our best, but we had opportunities to win the game. It probably didn't help with the referee getting injured. That kind of was a little bit disruptive in terms of 10-0 up, and we're thinking if we take a few of the opportunities that get presented to us, and unfortunately we've given away a couple of soft penalties that allowed them to sort of go in it with a couple of those before half-time. So, we spoke about how important discipline was and not giving anything, and that allowed them to stay in the game in terms of keeping the scoreboard ticking over, and they took their opportunities. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of the feedback from the panel. If he's felt that Nick's dropped his height and said it wasn't foul play, I need to go back and have a look at it. I probably think it's at least a penalty situation, and then from that, we felt Dylan Lewis was on the ball for a significant amount of time before they end up scoring their try as well. So, sometimes those things happen in a game, and big moments can swing things. It's just the way it is.
So that's Warren Gatland. This also means, of course, that fly half Dan Biggar has played his final game in a Wales shirt. So let's hear his reflections.
Yeah, emotional. I didn't think I would be, if I'm honest. I thought it would just be one of those moments where you just
pack up your bag and leave. But I think the sudden abruptness of it, realising that tomorrow is going to be the last day as with the team, and the only positive is I got a cheap Uber back to the house in Toulon. So very difficult to sum up. It's been 15, 16 years of my life, which every autumn, every Six Nations, every summer, it's been a huge part of my life. I couldn't have asked for many better people to have done it with. So perhaps when I see the bigger picture and look back and think, I think maybe I haven't done too bad over the 15 years or so. We started the game really well, and that almost felt like it was going too well. So we're disappointed. There was obviously a couple of big moments in the game, but for Argentina, did really well in just almost suffocating the game a little bit and turning it into a brawl. So massively good. Massive good luck to them next week. I thought they were excellent in the second half today. So a few months ago, we'd have bit your hand off or something for a quarter-final place and perhaps losing in a quarter-final, but it feels like we've probably fell a little bit short in the last couple of months or the last couple of weeks, how we've built and how we've done in the group. So it's going to be difficult to replace, and there's been some great highs, lots of highs, lots of lows. That's what's made it so special.
That's Dan Bigger. One of these two teams, their players and fans will be feeling that devastation in 40 minutes' time. The second half of Ireland and New Zealand with your commentary team, Andrew Mertens, Tommy Bowe and Sarah Orchard.
Hold on to your hats, guys. Still 40 minutes of this quarter-final to go. The All Blacks have come back out. They'll be kicking us off in this second half, and they're starting off with just 14 men on the field. Aaron Smith, their scrum half, an absolute legend down in New Zealand parts. Only the 123rd cap he's won today. He's in the bin. 34 years old. All that experience from a debut back in 2012. They're going to have to go without him. They're going to have to scramble. They've already had to do that because they leaked a try to Ireland. It was all the savvy that came from Gibson Park right at the end to know there was no cover and he could get round. Wayne Barnes is ready to get things back underway. No change to either side. It's Ireland 17, New Zealand 18. As we get back underway, then Beauden Barrett sends the ball to the left-hand side of the field. It's Ireland who gather. They're playing from left to right in this second half. Of course, wearing their green shirts, white shorts, green socks. New Zealand, they're playing from right to left, and they're wearing their black shirts, their black shorts and their black socks. Slow ball as they just try and construct a Gibson Park box kick as it goes down the far side of the field. It's going to land on the halfway line. They're waiting calmly underneath it, and it's passed away by Barrett. He manages to find support in the form of Fainga Anuku, who pushes towards that 10-metre line. Another big box kick comes in now by Mo'unga. Remember, there's no scrum half on the field at the moment, so a few more people have to go on duties. A little bit of a tussle with the ball. It is going to end up on a New Zealand side. No, stolen by Van der Fleer. Here come Ireland on the counter. They'll be happy with that contest. The aerial ball was put up. They came away with it. They need to motor now. We've still got 4 minutes on the bin there for Smith. It's hacked on now by Hugo Keenan. Waiting back inside of the All Black 22, Barrett. He uses his right boot to send it towards this near side of the field. He finds a nice cosy touch, but it will be an Ireland line out on the halfway line. Once again, a very good evening to Andrew Mertens and Tommy Bowe, who are steely-faced, and you've both gone very quiet all of a sudden, looking forward. There's a lot going on inside those minds.
I had to go away at half-time, just have a little word with myself there. 13 points down in the start of that first half, Ireland went, but they've got themselves right back into it. It's a one-point game. Aaron Smith obviously still about 4 minutes left on the clock with him. Ireland in this period need to get themselves in front. They haven't led at all in this match. It is a quarter-final. Ireland have never gone past it before. They need to really believe.
The atmosphere is magical in the Stade de France right now. As Lowe can't get it. It was Hansen who tried to hack it away. There was a black shirt there, so that's lost possession there by Ireland. Was that really wasted an opportunity? The contest is fierce on the floor. It's slow ball if it's going to come out New Zealand way. It does in the end. So on the halfway line, still 3.5 minutes to go on that sin bin. 14 on the field. Mo'unga once again, he goes back this time. Geordie Barrett puts a high one into the air. Contest goes flying. It is going to still end up on the black side. Referee Wayne Barnes is happy that the contest was clean. A little bit of footwork comes in this time by Tyrell Lomax, the Hurricanes tight head, getting involved. His 30th cap today. Back goes the ball, this time to Geordie Barrett, who's standing in that first receiver role because Mo'unga's in there sweeping around at 10. The mark is called in the end by Ireland, and they need to use this next 3 minutes, Tommy Bowe, and they don't really seem to be doing it.
Yeah, New Zealand are going to the air an awful lot, but they're winning the aerial battle, putting Ireland under pressure with little chip kicks, which we're seeing now by Beauden Barrett. Ireland looked like they knocked it on there. They got away with it. Tyburn with the ball in possession. Ireland need to get into that outside channel here.
And they're pushing towards this near side. Hanging out with that very well strapped calf is Mac Hansen. He sends it down. It's bounced out of play on this near side. Where did he kick it? It wasn't quite on the right way of the halfway line, so it's still going to be a New Zealand line out.
50-22.
Oh no, it was
50-22.
They are saying 50-22.
Yeah, it is a 50-22.
Confirmation, it was kicked on the right side of the halfway. What an opportunity for Ireland.
2 minutes left to play till Aaron Smith comes back and makes it 15 players apiece on the pitch. This is a perfect opportunity for Ireland to get themselves into this game again.
This is an important line out for Ireland because we were talking with Andrew Mertens at half time. The All Blacks have done their homework at this set piece, haven't they?
Yes, they have, and I think it's the best prepared the All Blacks look in terms of picking off a couple of balls, but also getting a line on the Irish attack. They've really made some impactful tackles, which is nice to see from a New Zealand perspective.
Okay, Ireland win the ball at the line out. They're going towards the All Black 22. Aki again. He's just being used in only the way that Bundy Aki can. Battering round, crossfield cut comes in. Omani is there. He can't take it. It's loose on the floor. Was it knocked on? Yes, it was. They'll restart with an All Black scrum, but it's 5 metres from their own line.
That's so funny. That is an old Joe Schmidt play that Ireland just pulled out. Joe Schmidt, of course, the former Irish coach who is now the coach of New Zealand. I swear I scored against South Africa with that very same play. Pity they had Pete O'Mahony on the bloody touchline instead of the winger.
Well, it's also a really smart play at the moment because without Aaron Smith, Richie Mo'unga is covering at halfback. They've put Lester Fainga-Anuku from the left wing into first defender. He was the one who made the tackle on that first phase. Knowing he's no longer in the game, smart move to put that kick out because it was Mo'unga up against Omani. There's a height difference there.
And I'm just keeping a close eye. Ronan Kelleher all of a sudden looked a little bit active on the bench, but he's just making his way back now. So you're going to restart then as the DJ decides he wants to get a little bit more excitement going around the Stade de France. Right, they are finally going to pack down 5 metres out from the New Zealand line. And remember, this is an All Blacks ball, still playing with 14 on the field. They're not going to be able to get Aaron Smith on yet until at least the next break in play. All eyes on Mo'unga. He's going to feed this one in. Crusaders man, been playing 10 now with Barrett at 15 for quite a few years. Played a bit of sevens in his time as well. He's got quite a few Super Rugby titles from memory as well with the Crusaders. As Mo'unga does get the ball back, that time to Beauden Barrett, uses his right boot towards this near side. That one is going to go out of play. Hansen is going to take it. Nice and quickly, they're going to stretch across the field. Ringrose now straightens. He needs to find some green shirts and support. He was a little bit isolated, did well to find where the forwards were. This time it comes back in the Irish direction. A nice little bit of a misplay there. Bundy Aki once again. I mean, his statistics are off the chart in this fixture so far. He's really racking up the metres. 83 so far, 8 carries, pushed towards the far side. This time we get to see Lowe, who's just fallen down into a bit of contact there. He's had a few clashes now out there, James Lowe. I think he's okay. He's getting to his feet. He's all right, but he's been put under a huge amount of pressure and he's getting his body in really tricky positions. It's Ireland 17, New Zealand 18. No score yet in this second half as the ball is put down. Jay's got this now how to shoot. He can't take it. Once again, it's the wrong number on the back of the shirt, chasing the ball down the wing for Ireland. It was Shionan on that occasion. It's gone out of play on the near side, and it will be an All Black line out 10 metres from their own line.
Yeah, interesting from Ireland that the line out has not gone well from in the opening of the first half. Mac Hansen went for the quick line out there, trying to keep the ball alive, keep the tempo up. And when Ireland do stretch this New Zealand team, they are finding space, they're getting dividends. That time Mac Hansen seeing the space out wide with the little chip kick. Unfortunately, it was the hooker, Dan Sheehan, on the outside who wasn't able to regather.
And he's actually been knocked on the way out, so it's a scrum.
Yeah, so the All Blacks got the option, I think, of the line out of the scrum. You're absolutely right. They're finding the gaps. It's just getting the right personnel there. So I'm sure they'll tweak that pretty quickly, though, Tommy. They're probably renowned as the smartest team in international rugby at the moment, Ireland, in terms of reactivity, adaptation.
But they have to be clinical, and this is what it takes when you come to a quarter-final. You don't get many opportunities, particularly up against the All Blacks. When you do get your chances, you got to take them.
The Ireland fans are on their feet. They have been drinking in the bars of Paris from breakfast this morning. They want more as they watch this ball go into the scrum. A huge push here from Ireland, but no, it's New Zealand that get the penalty once again. frustration from Ireland, who keep thinking they have the upper hand.
Backwards, your hips have come out. Yeah, I agree, once your hips have gone out.
Well, there you go. All of that is directed at Andrew Porter, who is finding these decisions unbelievable.
Well, the All Blacks certainly got the initial advantage there, initial dominance, and it was after that it started raising up. So, it was the far side from us. We've got to trust Wayne Barnes, who was right in front of him as well. So, got to trust that even though it's a really esoteric world, that scrum world, that he got that one right.
And out half and a winger trying to dissect scrum. But yes, you could see Ireland and Andrew Porter maybe pushing and crabbing across there. I don't even know what that means, but it looks like it's obviously not allowed because Wayne Barnes penalised Ireland.
He got bypassed really and then started going straight in at a 90-degree angle, which I think was the infringement.
I thought that's what they're meant to do.
I love listening to you two talk about scrums. It's fantastic. Right then, Ireland 17, New Zealand 18, 5 Live Sport, your home of the Rugby World Cup. Who's going to be playing Argentina next Friday? At the moment, it's New Zealand, who are working their way across the park. They've kept it tight in this maul and it's still moving. They need to get it out. Of course, Smith back on the field. They're up to 15. They push towards this near side. Ioane really pumping the legs. Between the 10 and the 22, they're at the right end of the field. Haven't been here for a while, New Zealand, and they feel confident. Their tails are up. Cody Taylor, he goes into contact. Smith now back on the ball. He's going to be frustrated with the period that he spent off it, because right at the end of the first half, that's when Ireland went over to make this a tight game. As you hear La Marseillaise going out around the stadium. There are plenty of French fans here as well. Of course, for a long time now, a little bit of a bucket sort of a list tick-off has been to see the All Blacks play. Is that aura going to continue here? Ball down on the ground. Once again, the phase is being racked here through by New Zealand. They got through about 29 in the first half at one point. Now up to 8 phases. Doris just went for a little bit of a snipe there, not to be on that occasion as it comes back. This time we get to see Scott Barrett, Crusaders captain, forcing his way forward, trying to use all of his physicality. And the defensive line here from Ireland continues to stop the All Blacks. They are making progress, but getting over the gain line, we're talking about inches at a time. This time Frizzell, he's absolutely thrown backwards. And it's back on the 22-metre line, and Wayne Barnes is directing Smith to get on and play the ball. It's almost as if Smith is checking at every ruck to see if they can have a penalty from Barnes. He's saying, come on, let's play rugby. Mwanga now. Barrett looking for work. He comes out of that fullback position. They're now back outside of the 22. And Ireland have stolen the ball. Porter has it. He gives it to Aki. They need to shift something out there. A nice popped up ball to Keenan. Now it's gone to Lowe. He crosses back inside. There's no one there with him. Keenan has to quickly get back to his feet. Have they managed to hold on, Ireland? Yes, they do. Now they have it. Here comes Mac Hansen. Manages to find Targ Furlong. He goes down to the ground. This is end-to-end stuff here. No one is giving an inch as it's still Irish ball. Lowe goes down to ground. He's getting a little bit too close to the whitewash out on the far side of the field. 51 minutes played. This ball hasn't been out of play now for at least 3 minutes. It's exhausting. It's lung-busting. It's a Rugby World Cup quarter-final. It's Ireland who are looking for their first opportunity to lead here as well. A little bit almost there of isolation by Henderson, and that's exactly what happens. He holds on to the ball. The All Blacks get the penalty. They will clear.
Well, that's the danger. I mean, that's the temptation, but also the danger. You suddenly see that gap, you accelerate in, and you don't quite make it through. You get a good chop tackle from the All Blacks, and the Irish have been doing it as well. It only takes that little bit. You get isolated, and immediately these teams, either team, will pounce, and that's all it needed. They looked like they had a chance there, Ireland. They threw everything into it, suddenly accelerated the game, and it backfired against them.
Yeah, when a player makes a one-off break like that, he's isolated. Unfortunately, Ireland couldn't get the men to clean out that ruck. New Zealand over it again. Frizzell, very, very impressive on that turnover ball, but there's a lot of hands on heads, there's a lot of hands on knees. As you mentioned, 3-4 minutes consistently playing there, and we're seeing now actually the Irish tight head Tyke Furlong coming off now, which, what are we, 45, maybe 50 minutes into the game? That's a big loss from an Irish point of view.
Yeah, 52 minutes gone. Furlong goes off the field. Finlay Bealham comes on. And after that lung-busting effort from both sides, as the whistle finally went there, we saw a big shot on the screen of Ardie Savard down on his knees, looking up at the sky, just taking on as much oxygen as he physically could.
The All Blacks did well to regroup, because that was, there's no way Porter was onside for that that steal at the ruck. The All Blacks had strung together all those phases. They got to restart.
Right, then breakaway here by Mo'unga. Oh, this is wonderful play. This is All Blacks in full flight. Here comes Will Jordan. He's looking for the corner. No one will catch him. Jordan goes over. This is the All Blacks in their pomp now as they take a stronger lead now in this second half. Ireland have still got it all to do. It is now Ireland 17, New Zealand 23.
Wow, that is the artistry of Richie Mo'unga. He's got an absolute knack for picking one moment per half where he really thinks he's fired out the pass to other players. Suddenly he senses the slightest weakness and off he went. He was 70 metres from the try line. He had his runners around him. He just dummied and went through the gap. He's got the great speed, and he had Will Jordan. Very few players in the world will run Will Jordan down with that sort of opportunity.
Yeah, wonderful play by Richie Mo'unga. A super pass by Aaron Smith off the back of the line out. Mo'unga sees Sheehan and Van der Fleer caught between who's taking and went through the gap, and Will Jordan on the inside. We spoke earlier on about Ireland and both teams in a quarter-final. You got to be clinical. You got to take your opportunities. 2 minutes ago, Ireland had chances in the New Zealand 22. They didn't take their chance, and they're paying for it now.
Well, the conversion's out on the far side. This time it's Barrett who's going to be taking this one. It's going to take a bit of an in-swing. It's not Bowden who's taking it, it's Geordie.
This is a crucial 2 points as well. It won't be lost on Geordie Barrett here. He's taken it way back. It's probably a good 45 metres on the angle.
He's got 10 seconds to go, uses his right boot, slightly falls over in the process of kicking that, but it's over. That was tight. He just had enough to get it over. And that means they extend the lead. It's going to be Ireland 17, New Zealand 25.
Yeah, and that gets them out past that 7-point margin. Great clean line-out take from Brodie Retallick as well. All the parts worked well for New Zealand there. As you say, Tommy, the pass from Aaron Smith that was just crisp and clean. Mo'unga had time. He had plenty of runners working selflessly off him, but he had to have the speed and the footwork to take advantage, and he did.
Still a long way to go in this match. Ireland have come back from 13 points in the first half as well. They'll be confident that they can still get this New Zealand team under pressure, but I loved one of the shots we just saw on the big screen there. One of the Irish supporters, head in their hands, going, what do we got to do?
What a test match. What a test match. This is quarter-final time. Ireland 17, New Zealand 25. 54 minutes on the clock, and Ireland have it all to do. How both sides deploy their bench is also going to be hugely significant here. Really, really important. I can tell you at the moment, for the time being, Johnny Sexton is still on the field. We've seen him pulled off early in a lot of second halves in this, but you feel he's going to be there for the long haul tonight, surely.
Getting Johnny Sexton off this
no
pitch.
way.
I mean, you got to remember, Sarah, if Ireland were to lose this match, that is Johnny Sexton's career over. He will be retired from rugby. So you are going to have to, Andy Farrell's going to have to go onto the pitch, literally drag him off.
To be fair, I'd love to see that, but let's not focus on what I want here, because it's been hacked on by Ireland. It's gathered in the end back by Bowden Barrett. Frustration there by Tommy Bowe. You can hear as it's eventually hacked away by the All Blacks on this near side. We'll restart with an Irish line-out. It's not a bad position. It's just outside of the All Blacks 22, and right, okay, we're keeping a very close eye here now on Mac Hansen. He has very heavily strapped calf. We knew that. He was in a bit of contact there, and he's now receiving more medical treatment.
Yeah, I don't know if he bumped into Richie Mo'unga there, but there was a lot of talk during the week about Mac Hansen and his calf, whether he was going to play or not, but he looks like he's in a lot of discomfort here. Interested to see if he was able to make it back out onto the pitch again.
It did look very innocuous. He went for the scrag on Bowden Barrett. He turned, he was fine at that point. He turned, and maybe just that slightest acceleration, or maybe he just caught a bad lump of turf. I mean, the grounds have been fantastic, but they have been churned up a little bit by scrums, etc. So it doesn't take much more than a clod to put these athletes, I guess, off their finely tuned bodies.
I'd love if the cameras actually went and looked at him so we could see what was wrong with him, as opposed to looking at every Irish and New Zealand supporter giving it stacks in the crowd.
He's not good. He doesn't look good at all.
Well, he's really struggling to put weight through that right leg. Now, I watched him in the team run yesterday. When he was walking along, he had a bit of a limp, but as you rightly point out, when your calf is that heavily strapped, you automatically have a limp. When he was running around, he was fine. So he's sort of like testing it out now, but no, he's going to go. He's coming onto the field. Jimmy O'Brien, he's a utility back. He can play anywhere in this Ireland back line, but a big moment from Mac Hansen, who has been so inspirational and just such a different player. He's given so much to this Irish team and to rugby. To see him go off, so disappointing.
Yeah, and a really big opportunity for Jimmy O'Brien. I think this is probably his first minutes in this Rugby World Cup as well. We haven't seen much of him in an Ireland jersey, but he's an absolute all-rounder, plays some incredible rugby for Leinster, and now is his opportunity to make his mark.
Well, it would certainly make a mark as Mac Hansen is off, Jimmy O'Brien is on, and Ireland still have their line out outside of the All Black 22. Spun out ball quickly. This looks good then from Ireland. It is O'Brien who's straight heavily into contact. He's made a good few metres over the gain line. Spun out ball to this side. Oh, stolen by New Zealand. What a risky pass from Ireland. That could have been another try, run straight in, but the All Black player who gathered went straight down to the field. Gathered by Mwanga. He plays scrum half, pushes it out. New Zealand playing between their own 10 and 22. All of a sudden, Ireland are playing risky rugby. Again, there's just moments in this match. We have not seen Ireland play like this for so long, and they're taking risks. They are nervy. Ireland 17, New Zealand 25, 56 minutes on the clock. The All Blacks are composed. They have been here too many times before. There's so many World Cup winners still in their side. The last time they lifted the trophy was back in England in 2015, as the ball is back in Irish hands on the halfway line, gathered this time by Gibson Park. He manages to find Keenan. They're stringing together the phases here, Ireland, but certainly there will be some concern at the moment about things just not going their way. They're static at the moment, Ireland. They're not running onto the ball. It's given to Aki again to give them that real bust, that go through. A little bit of impetus. They need some sparkle and some shine. Low, he goes forward over the 10-metre line. Contest comes in by the black shirts. They know to give it up in the end. Wayne Barnes tracks the ball back towards the middle of the field, this time taken on by Porter. He hasn't had the best of days at the scrum, but he's still doing the hard yards in the middle of the field. Keenan once again. This time it's Van der Fleer, who of course he's the reigning World Player of the Year, wearing 7 on his back. The penalty is Ireland's. Now this is significant, and as significant as in the decision that Ireland make here. They trail at the moment by 8 points. What is Johnny Sexton to do? He's not looking at, he is looking at goal. Oh, he's looking at, he's very disguising in what he's going to do. I like it.
I think the two teams are summed up very well by your two commentators here as well, because I am full of emotion. I can't deal with this. Andrew Mertens, he's been here, done this before, cool, calm and collected, and it feels like that's what I'm watching here on the pitch. New Zealand just seem to be taking it all in their stride. They've been here, they've won quarterfinals, they know what it takes. This Irish team, they're throwing everything at it, but they do look that little bit frantic. They look like the occasion is kind of getting to them. We're not seeing the fluidity that we've seen from them in early games in these pool stages.
Do you agree with that, Andrew Mertens?
Well, I'm churning inside. I'm like that. What do they talk about? The ducks or the swans? I don't think I look serene. You'd never describe me as that, but I'm certainly far less serene on the inside. It's tough. I've been through watching All Blacks blow out of World Cups and lose in quarterfinals and semi-finals or finals, and I've seen them win as well, and it's just, it's playing out in front, and
here comes Sexton with the penalty, and he's missed. That one has not gone through. Ireland 17, New Zealand 25. That's Sexton's first miss of the whole game.
Well, that sums up really what you've been saying, Tommy, as well. That's just so uncharacteristic. So far from out of the game. There's no way New Zealanders anywhere are relaxing. The hope for New Zealanders is that the bench, and as we see the Irish ringing the changes as well, there is a very strong New Zealand bench. A lot of established, experienced players like Coles, Leonard Brown, Damien McKenzie, of course, and Sam Whitelock. And Ireland has gone to their bench a little earlier than the All Blacks.
Yeah, still 20 minutes to go in this match. Still an awful lot to play. But as Andrew just said there, Johnny Sexton missing a kick like that, a very kickable 3 points from him. The question marks do start to niggle in the back of your mind. Another quarter-final. Things aren't quite sticking. We need some big plays now from this Irish team to try and put New Zealand back under that bit of pressure again.
Well, changes for both sides there. Whitelock is onto the field. I think they're having a little bit of a change around there. Still also coming on for Ireland, McCarthy and Conan as well. Josh Van der Fleer coming off might surprise some people, but clearly Ireland have seen something. They know they've got to change things up. Keenan with the big pass out wide. That was a bit risky the last time they tried that, as it comes back in. This is nice by O'Brien. He's done so well with his footwork there, just to edge it back inside to find the support so he wasn't on his own. We get to see for the first time Joe McCarthy on the ball. ball. He's only 22 years old. Absolutely enormous prospect in Irish rugby. So much expected of him as the ball is now loose on the floor. Popped back up. This time it's taken by Jack Conan. Of course, a famous inclusion on that 2021 Lions tour. Got to play in all 3 tests. Now it's pushed forward once again. McCarthy, they are using him permanently now to truck up the ball. Hacked on ball by Sexton. He tries to chase his own. Now this is confusing of what Sexton has tried to do there. He was blocked, but was that really on for Sexton to try that?
Well, there was space behind, but at the same time as Sexton saw it, Geordie Barrett over the far side, defending on the blind side, also saw it and was absolutely making a beeline with that 6'23" frame. The giraffe diving and stretching out and just desperately taking that on the full with a fair mark claimed.
No, it wasn't on. It wasn't on. It was on if Johnny Sexton told somebody else that he was going to try and do it. Unfortunately, Johnny Sexton at the age of 38 doesn't quite have the legs that a sprightly 28-year-old might have had, and that chip kick into the New Zealand 22, it's just a simple turnover that gives the ball back to New Zealand again. That these are the sort of small mistakes that will cost Ireland massively. Another change.
Yeah, Jamison Gibson Park makes his way off. On comes Conor Murray, winning his 112th cap today here at the Stade de France. He made his test debut back in 2011. He's a 3-time British and Irish Lion, and it's actually significant Conor Murray coming on. This is his 18th Rugby World Cup game. That beats both O'Driscoll and O'Connell, so that's a feather in his cap, but it's one he will not care about if he's on the wrong side of the scoreline. Once again out to Jimmy O'Brien, who they're really trying to use quite heavily at the moment, Ireland. Those fresh legs that they've got, maybe that's what they're noticing that they really needed as they continue to use the bench. We just haven't seen the turnover yet from the All Blacks at all. They've used one player. Right then, still Aki now back on the ball. Goes down 20 metres from the far side touch. New Zealand's lead here, 25 points to 17. Ireland never through to the World Cup semi-finals. If they're going to do it, they have got 18 minutes to put in a shift. Popped off ball. This is really nice to Keenan. Still Keenan going. He needs someone to get with him fast. 2 green shirts arrive eventually. Over into the 22. Now Sexton manages to feed Beelan. Out to Ringrose. This is better from Ireland. They're getting numbers on the far side. They need quick ball from Murray. All of a sudden the All Blacks manage to regather and swing round. This time going forward, it's Porter. He's down on the floor. Still green ball. Sexton now, lovely soft hands, gives the most comforting pass to Lowe, who has to go straight into contact, and Sexton goes back round. Beelan once again with his braids, always goes and finds someone to do his hair a couple of days out from a gain as it gets louder in the Stade de France. You can tell it's Ireland fans who are here. They wanted history today. They still expect history. Down goes the ball. 11 phases now here from Ireland. They may have to start thinking of a different way to get points if this is how the script is going to go. James Lowe cuts back inside. He had Sheenan outside him, but you don't want a hooker outside you. You want more than that. Back inside it goes. Really nice work there between Sexton and Murray. Over the top. Oh no! Right. It was Fainga Anuku who went over the top, but Wayne Barnes says no. He was sealing it off. He couldn't do that, and that means Ireland get the penalty. They're going to have to go for the corner.
Yeah, Ireland quite lucky there, in my opinion. I think he was over the ball. It looked like he was on his feet. Johnny Sexton tried to dislodge him from the ball. We can see Johnny Sexton kicked it into the corner. Gee, in on this Irish crowd. They're here in their numbers. They're thousands, and they would love nothing better than for Ireland to get themselves back into this game, and Johnny Sexton feels that they could be the 16th man.
This is a huge moment in this quarter-final. 17 minutes on the clock. Ireland are trailing by 8. They've dropped the ball in the corner. They're just waiting for a bit of water, a little bit of running repairs. Andrew Mertens, there's been an election in New Zealand in the last 24 hours, which will have a biggest impact on the economy. The result of this game or the new incoming Prime Minister?
Well, I think the All Blacks do sit there. I'm not saying that just in the context of being a former All Black, but we lost in 99 in the semi-final. About a week later, there was an election where the rampant favourite to get re-elected, the national government, got dumped out of there just through the disappointment, I guess, and dissatisfaction of New Zealanders. So it's said that the rugby game, that's maybe why they scheduled it to play out before this quarter-final. So it's a big day all round in New Zealand, isn't it?
To be fair to this New Zealand team, it's the best I've seen them play in a long time. Their defence has been excellent. Ireland have found space. They've made some line breaks. but they make the break, and New Zealand just seem to regather, spread out the field, and Ireland just can't get that final score, that clinical score, to get themselves in front.
Well, interestingly, Sam Whitelock's on the field for the All Blacks. He made the tackle that ultimately ended up getting penalised. Will he go up to compete for this line out?
Huge line out for Ireland. It's gathered in the end by Byrne. Expect the huge heaver. This is moving from Ireland. That's going over. It's only going. Where's a penalty try for Ireland? They don't even need to kick the goal. Straight under. That is 7 points. And this game is back on. It's now Ireland 23-4.
Oh, yellow card too.
And a yellow card as well. I think that was... When I say 2 fingers put up by Wayne Barnes, that's not an insult. That's in its number 2 going to the bin. Cody Taylor.
That's a big moment. Big decision by Wayne Barnes there. Penalty try is one thing, 7 points, but to actually sin bin the New Zealand hooker going into crucial moments, going into the final 15-20 minutes of this match. Ireland, this is maybe the rub of the green we spoke about earlier, just going into half-time. Wayne Barnes has given them another gift here.
Well, I question whether Sam Whitelock would go up. He's got a habit, he's got a knack for stealing the ball on his own line at crucial moments. He did go up, he did a little feint as if he wasn't going to, went up. Ireland managed to secure the ball, got the impetus going, and Cody Taylor came ripping around the far side and pulled it down.
Ultimately, by him going up into the air, that is what gave Ireland the impetus to actually get over the line. And for every other time that Ireland have had a 5-metre line out, they haven't contested in the air. They will not do that again. Right then, ball goes down the field. It's a 1-point game in the quarter-final. You're listening to 5 Live. We are your home of the Rugby World Cup. It's Ireland 24, New Zealand 25, and for the second time in this fixture, New Zealand are down to 14 men. They send the ball down the field. It's Lowe who's managing to go back and gather. He's got support outside him. He's not going to use it, as we notice now that Keenan has got a heavily strapped head. He's been given a big bandage at some point in one of these breaks in play, as Will Jordan comes on a mazy run over the halfway line. Aaron Smith goes in to gather. Here's Sam Cane. He pushes forward. Haven't spoken too much about Cane, but that's because a lot of the work he does goes unseen. He might wear 7 on his back, Sam Cane. He's more of a 6.5, as we like to call them these days, with the kind of work that he gets through in a fixture. Still all black ball, far side of the field, taken forward this time. Tamati Williams of the Crusaders is on. It's been knocked on ball. And we will restart then with a scrum. Just out of curiosity, Andrew Mertens, do you think that was a deserved yellow?
Yeah, I think so. If it was on the far side from us as well, but pulling down a maul, and particularly right in front of the try line, yeah, absolutely. And we see Dane Coles now comes onto the field to replace Cody Taylor, so they'll have to drop someone else off. It's normally one of the poor old back rowers, or they might be giving Brodie Retallick a bit of a freshener now as well. Yes, he's lumbering off.
To be fair to New Zealand, they've copped 2 yellow cards by 2 of the kind of controversial decisions and rules and laws in this game. The accidental knock on with Aaron Smith earlier on, a lot of people would question, does that really warrant a yellow card? Again, it was a driving maul by Ireland. It looked like they were going to score the try. The penalty try probably would have been enough, but the yellow card puts the stack back in Ireland's favour.
Well, we did watch the knock-on back at half-time, and I did notice that when it's one hand, it's often when the referees will go to the yellow card. When it's 2 hands, that's when they tend to go for the penalty. I mean, as you rightly said to me at the time, Andrew Mertens, you guys were far better at catching a ball than me with one hand, so you're well within your rights. You could probably do it. Most mere mortals can't, but that's why the referees tend to go, because you're more likely to bat the ball.
I just want to point out, Sarah, I didn't actually say it like that. Certainly didn't say it. No, but I mean, you know, these guys are skillful. Throwing out one hand as a bit of a speculator to get the ball, to me, doesn't sound like the threshold for a deliberate knock-on, but that's the way it's being adjudicated. So the question is not with the refereeing, it's probably with the laws themselves. But anyway, I really don't think the All Blacks have got too much to complain about on the yellow cards. You know, what concerned me more was the Porter steal that was offside and maybe a blatant forward pass. But you know what? We've had that from Wayne Barnes before, so we've got to live with it.
I can't repeat the conversation I had with Andrew Mertens about referees at half-time. We might delve into a little bit in the Rugby Union Daily podcast. Do go to BBC Sounds. We will cover everything that was Wales, Argentina, and of course everything that is to be here, Ireland, New Zealand. We see Richie McCaw on the big screen. He's looking nervous as New Zealand have now won a penalty. and they're looking straight to goal.
Yeah, this is perfect for New Zealand. There's 7.5 minutes still on the yellow card for Cody Taylor. New Zealand will want to wind this down. That scrum seemed to take forever. The clock is ticking down. Ireland need to get their hands on the ball, get themselves into New Zealand's half and really start to turn the screw on this New Zealand team. But perfect opportunity now for Geordie Barrett to try and put this team, his team, the All Blacks, 4 points ahead.
No one went forward, it just ran left.
Okay, so you can hear Wayne Barnsley. He's just having a little bit of a chat there, and he's having a chat with Ronan Kelleher, who is just going in to check what that decision was, because he's now well ensconced in that front row. Right then, so Geordie Barrett, if he's going to get this, he's going to have to give it a little bit of welly, because it's 10 metres from the far side touch, but it's pretty close to the halfway line. He's trying to use the clock as well. Remember, there's one in the bin here for the All Blacks. As the whistles start to go around from the Ireland fans who want him to get on with it, he could not care less how much of that clock he uses up. Takes a step back, runs forward. It flies through the air. It's going to come down. That one's gone wide of the post. It's still a 1-point game. We'll restart with a 22.
There we have it. I don't know, what do you say? A big miss there by Geordie Barrett. An opportunity for New Zealand to just put themselves back in front, an opportunity to just slow down the game again and get themselves back up to 15 players on the pitch. Another lifeline for Ireland as Johnny Sexton kicks off at 22.
Ireland are playing in their 8th Rugby World Cup quarter-final. They've lost the last 7. They now have 13 minutes to try and do something. Penalty again to the All Blacks. And Wayne Barnes, we're just going to listen in to what he's saying here. Important moments.
Connor has pulled number 12 off the ball.
Okay, you're nodding away there, Andrew Matthews.
Yeah, well, the Barrett brothers were combining. Bodie was going to hit Geordie with the pass until he heard Geordie calling for the bomb. He put it up. I was watching Barrett come through. Jordan Barrett chased through. He got taken out by 2 or 3 Irish players. You see it when we can see the replay in front of us. It's a lot easier. He got taken out, and as a result of that, directly, firstly, he was obstructed. Secondly, he inadvertently and involuntarily took out the Irish player in the air. So absolutely correct. I was ranting about this in the first match when Will Jordan got taken out by the French. I don't think we're coming down hard enough, and all teams do it, try to get away with obstruction. We've already seen the All Blacks penalised for it. They've got to be hard on it.
Yeah, Conor Murray, 100 caps, tried to just be sneaky with it, but you got to be careful and not take the man out. You got to let him get up into the air. Hugo Keenan, to be fair to him, I don't think anybody was going to pluck the ball off him, but a simple, soft penalty by Ireland. And here's another opportunity for Geordie Barrett to step up and put New Zealand 4 points ahead.
Okay, so here comes Barrett with the kick. He was never going to miss twice, was he? It's now Ireland 24, New Zealand. They've got another 3 in the bank. They got to 28. It is a 4-point ball game. So drop goal territory has now left Ireland's armoury. We're back into try territory at the very least. 10 minutes still to go in this quarter-final, and there's still time on the sin bin at the moment. New Zealand's still playing with 14. Right then, restart from Ireland. Here comes Johnny Sexton. He's not left the field. If this is his last game of rugby, he is going to go out fighting, kicking, screaming. He is going to throw everything at this. Ball down on the floor, far side of the field, still inside of the New Zealand 22. Here comes Sam Cane.
Thank you.
Playing now at the Chiefs as the ball comes back, this time to Bowden Barrett, who took a little bit of a knock as the ball finally gets away. Taken clean in the end by Sexton, who's got a little bit of clear grass. Pops off the ball this time to Murray. He hacks on the ball. There's no one at home from the All Blacks. They have to go back and cover. Big tackle coming in. Was they dragged out of play? No. Play on. It was brought back inside. They're trying to appeal that it was, and it's a penalty to Ireland. Holding on the floor there by New Zealand. And I can tell you for free, this is about to be dropped in the corner, surely. With the extra player still on the field for Ireland, there is no way that New Zealand will contest this one.
Ireland's first chance to play with the yellow card out. Johnny Sexton's put it into the corner, 5 metres out from the line. These are the championship minutes.
Yeah, Bowden Barrett just desperate to keep that ball in play there. He didn't want to get taken out over the touchline, concede the line out to Ireland. The end result is they've conceded another 5 metres, the All Blacks. They couldn't clean it up, ball on the ground, and ended up conceding the penalty for holding on to it.
All of the Ireland fans in the corner where the line-out is have got onto their feet, and they are all willing Ireland to go. It's still moving. This looks really strong from Ireland. Murray's at the back. It's stopped moving all of a sudden. There is the warning there from Wayne Barnes. It's got to go. Is it over? Wayne Barnes Francis looking.
Held up.
They're going to bring it back. It's not going to be on that occasion. What a shift that was just put in by the All Black forwards.
Oh, Ireland. Conor Murray with the ball in his hands. The Ireland maul going forward.
Look, but it's held up. It's held up.
This will be a big miss for Ireland if they're held up in this moment, because it looked, for all certainty, Ireland could have had 2, 3, 4 players running over the line.
Well, it's fraught with danger, but I'm surprised more teams don't allow that to go over the line. I don't see the logic in giving this as a goal line dropout for a team having got across the line but not being able to get it down.
Well, we've had the goal line dropout now as the ball is knocked on there. A big mistake comes in there by Caelan Doris. Just at the wrong moment on the halfway line as it came down to him, knocks on the ball. New Zealand get it back. That is as good as it gets to giving the ball gift wrap with a bow on the top.
How much of that comes down to a little bit of homework? We saw Barrett start really wide of the posts, and maybe that's something they've identified as a potential weakness. Anyway, they rolled the dice and it worked on this occasion. They're far from out of the woods yet, of course, the All Blacks.
A miscommunication. You could see Caelan Doris didn't even think he was taking it. He was standing beside Hugo Keenan, and Hugo Keenan almost waved him onto it, and he jumped himself into position and didn't really time it. Came off his chest, bounced forward, and another opportunity for New Zealand to clear their lines, get themselves out of their own half, and just release that bit of pressure that Ireland are trying to put them under.
James Lowe's got to be careful over that far side, because the All Blacks are just inside their own half, and with a boot the size of Geordie Barrett, who's actually no longer in the field, so I'll shut that up.
They've made a little bit of change. I know that Anton Leonard-Brown is now on the field, so that's probably the change there as the scrum comes down to play. Remember, they've only got 14 on the field at the moment. New Zealand needs to have to be a little bit careful with what they do with this ball. Aaron Smith then, as he approaches the Ireland 10-metre line. This time we get to see Scott Barrett go forward. And just over the top there is Byrne. He has to get back to his feet. He can't steal that because he lost his footing. You must make sure you're upright. You have to be supporting your own body weight if you're going to grab that ball. This time it's worked round the corner by Surveyor. What an important try he scored in the first half. Ireland 24, New Zealand 28, 73 minutes on the clock. This is going to go right to the wire. Who's going to be the hero? Who is going to finally finish this game for either side? And 4 points means it's really unlikely that either of these sides are going to turn this game into a draw where we're going to have to go into extra time. Right then, it's still New Zealand ball. They are taking their time, and this is really clever play because the clock on the sin bin is now gone. They're taking their time. They're making sure they get the extra man on the field. The high ball is put up now by Smith. It comes back down, taken this time by O'Brien, and he's going to be smashed into the near side touch. So it's going to be an All Black line out near side of the field, but they'll be returned to 15 men.
You can't help but thinking the All Blacks are probably playing for a penalty, Tommy, aren't they? And I don't know if they'd go for the 3 to take it out to 7. I reckon they'll try and stay down the Irish half if they do get this penalty. So an interesting scrum coming up.
Yeah, really interesting as well from the New Zealand tactics that they've put the ball into the air an awful lot, but they've always gone short. It's been a little chip kick over the top, or else a high up and under, but only maybe 5-10 metres. They've realised that Ireland, there's no point in kicking it to them in their 22. Make it a 50-50 decision, and so far New Zealand are coming out on top of those 50-50s.
Sam Cane, All Black captain, is off. Dalton Papali'i is on. Kane did come off the field a little bit, looked like he was limping. I don't know if he was just absolutely exhausted. We'll have to be asking that one later after this is finished. 5.5 minutes, Ireland 24, New Zealand 28. Who's going to be playing Argentina next Friday? At the moment it's New Zealand, as a little bit of a snipe is attempted there by Smith, almost runs into referee Wayne Barnes. Ball down on the floor. New Zealand, they're playing some really smart rugby at the moment. They're not in a rush. This is so sensible, it's composed. They don't need to do anything clever. They just need to hold on to the ball, and that is what they're doing. Papali'i arrives. He's going to go in, he's going to suck it up at the base. And Ireland are almost going to have to wait now to see if the All Blacks make a mistake so they can get the ball back, or just make sure they keep their discipline clean. Still pushing forward with the ball is the New Zealand players. Now it comes back. Mo'unga with the little kick over the head. Wasn't expecting that. It's loose ball. Keenan goes back to gathered inside the 22. And we'll have a goal line restart then for Ireland.
Choose up more time for the All Blacks. That's all they're thinking about. And they're down the right end.
Yeah, goal line kick out for Ireland here. Just kicking it back into New Zealand's hands, letting them launch another attack. Ireland need to get their hands on the ball. They haven't had much ball in play time in the last 10-15 minutes, even with a yellow card. We're seeing Andrew Porter coming off now. He's played 75 minutes, an absolutely titanic shift by the loose head prop. Big opportunity for Kilcoyne to try and bring a bit of fresh legs into this team.
Okay, big boot there from Sexton, who sends it over the halfway line. Geordie Barrett is still on the field of play, gives it to his brother Bowden Barrett, and all the All Blacks are doing now is pinning Ireland back inside of their half of the field. It goes over the 22 again, and because it's gone over, they can bring it back from where it was kicked. No, they're going to go for the restart 22 because it was touched down by Sexton. So Ireland have just got to find a way to get back down the other end of the field.
Still 4 minutes left on the clock. Ireland obviously trailing by 4 points. As I just said, they need to get their hands on the ball. A drop kick here, 22 dropout by Ireland, but just again kicks it down Will Jordan's throat, gives New Zealand possession going into the crucial minutes of this match.
If you are an Ireland fan, if you are a New Zealand fan, I would not blame you if you were behind the sofa right now, or if you were just trying to find some way just to calm the nerves, because this is high octane nervous stuff. Comes back again to New Zealand. Ireland need this ball. They just can't get hold of it at the right end of the field. New Zealand have it, and this is some of the most brilliant play of how to close out a game I've seen so far at this World Cup, because this is knockout rugby. The All Blacks know how to play it. Here comes Surveyor. No doubt he is the All Blacks captain on the field right now, as Smith, again, he's just eating away at the clock. If you could see him chewing on his watch right now, that is what he is doing. He's bringing it all the way back down the Caterpillar. The warning's coming in from Wayne Barnes. High box kick comes in. Underneath it on this near side is O'Brien. He's on his own though. A few more green shirts need to arrive. Finally, Ireland gets some ball, but they're in the wrong end of the field. It goes back. They need to get a try. Bundyaki manages to find O'Mahony. He crashes straight into black shirts. Still at the wrong end of the field, still inside of their own half. Ireland are going to have to do this the hard way. There is 2.5 minutes on the clock. They trail by 4. Ireland 24, New Zealand 28. 15 metres from the far side touch. Ireland now on the halfway line. The most composed rugby we've just seen from the All Blacks, but this is going to have to now be special from Ireland. Can they get into their first ever semi-final? Still 40 metres to go. This time it goes out to Keenan. He's on his own. Jimmy O'Brien quickly scrambles to get over the top. Really good work there comes in by Ringrose. He's just saved O'Brien's bacon. Huge hits in the middle of the field. The All Blacks can't make a mistake, because if they get a penalty now, Ireland will go for the line-out. Burn in the middle of the field alongside me. Mertens is calling for a forward pass. Barnes doesn't give it in the middle of the field. 2 minutes to go now. It's still Ireland on the ball. 10 phases brought together. It bobbles out. It's all backwards. Now Conan. He gets his head down. He pushes forward. Murray now towards Sexton, who's not going off. On his own out there is James Lowe. He's saying, please, someone come and help me out. I can't be pushed into touch. That's the only direction I'll go if you don't arrive. 2 inches from the far side, 1.5 minutes on the clock. Ireland still on the halfway line. Ireland 24, New Zealand 28. You're listening to 5 Live Sport. Ireland, they're trying to find a way to get themselves in a World Cup semi-final. They're just trying to support each other. Somebody needs to get a try. That's the only way this can be won now. If you are supporting Ireland, time is running out. If you're supporting New Zealand, it's looking good. 1 minute to go. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Comes back down once again. Almost confusion in the middle of the field there from Jimmy O'Brien. Didn't know what to do with the ball. Conor O'Murray looks up once again. 18 phases Ireland have gone through. They've gone virtually nowhere. Conan on the near side. He slows down slightly, brings it back into the field. They're approaching the 22 finally. Right, discipline now. So key for the All Blacks. It's a loose ball on the floor. Aki gathers. They've lost about 15 metres. Right, 30 seconds to go in this Rugby World Cup quarter-final. Ireland trail by 4 points. They have to score. It's on the floor. The All Blacks go into contest. They need their discipline still. Murray. Still more green shirts arrive. This time it's Kelleher, the Leinster man. 10 seconds left on the clock. We will play until the ball goes dead. So as soon as it goes to the 80, don't worry, we play on. Out on the far side, still green ball. The All Blacks almost think about taking it, decide not to. They're waiting for a knock-on. They're waiting for an Irish mistake. Burn. Byrne on the ball, 23 phases. 23 phases, the clock is red. This game will be over as soon as anything happens. The All Black go over the top, it's loose ball at the back. Eventually it is gathered by Iron. Surveyor thinks he could go in and get it. Which way will the penalty go if it's given? Wade Barnes, he's not going to make a decision. He's refusing to make a decision. He will not be involved in this. It's not clear cut, he will not give it. It's still an Irish attack. What are we witnessing here at the Stade de France? It's ridiculous, it's still going. It's still James Lowe. Ireland is still outside of the 22. 26 phases, 26 phases. The whole of the Stade de France is on their feet. Nobody knows what to do. Ireland are just trucking the ball every time. Doris with the hands manages to find Kelleher back inside of the All Blacks 22. Don't give away a penalty is the message. They're pushing once again. Finally, is this the moment? Ringrose went through the middle. He managed to make good ground. Nobody can watch, but they have to because someone's going into the semi-finals. We don't know who it's going to be. They push back towards this near side. O'Brien coming once again. They're slowing down this Ireland ball so well. So well. Now it comes now to Byrne, to Aki, now to Doris. Help me out here a little bit, I have to say, Tommy Bowe, because this is exhausting. 31 phases.
Ireland going side to side, getting dividends whenever they do go wide, but both teams absolutely out on their feet. New Zealand trying to force Ireland into making a mistake. If Ireland can just be calm, be collected. Bundy Aki, a great break right up through the middle here. Just need to hold on to the ball.
And here
the Irish crowd
again.
willing them on.
They are on their feet still. 10 metres for Ireland to go to finally change the script, to finally get into a semi-final. Sexton with the pass to Conan. It is absolutely incredible. 36 phases now. Ball comes back. No one's knocked it on. The All Blacks are trying to be good. There's someone over the top of that from New Zealand. It's a penalty to New Zealand. It's a penalty to New Zealand. It is all over. New Zealand will go into the semi-finals. Ireland are crushed. 8 quarter-finals played. 8 quarter-finals lost. The All Blacks will march on. They will go into the semi-finals. The ball still needs to be kicked off the field.
And they've got to tap it before they do. Otherwise, they've got to play the line out. So they've got to tap and kick the All Blacks. Do not stuff this up.
Well, there you go. Off it goes. That's it. It is over. The Green Army that has arrived in Paris is disappointed, is absolutely devastated. Every single Ireland player doesn't know what to do. They cannot believe what has just happened. Johnny Sexton's career as an Ireland player is now over. 124 caps, it ends. And it is the All Blacks who have a shot still of winning a 4th World Cup. They will play Argentina next week here at the Stade de France on Friday night. Andrew Mertens, what a finish.
I don't know what to say. I tried to convince myself all week I didn't mind, that there's no shame in losing, that I'd love to see Ireland, the world's #1 team, go through if New Zealand couldn't. I tell you what, I was kidding myself. I don't think my heart's been going that quickly and as that strongly since goodness knows when, and probably even when I was playing. That was absolutely edge of my seat stuff. I feel so gutted for Ireland. Clearly proud of New Zealand. Very emotional actually about how they had to defend those phases after phases, but gutted for Ireland. So proud of New Zealand.
I'm heartbroken. I just so much excitement, such optimism about this Irish team going into this World Cup. They've played some scintillating rugby. They've shown why they're the #1 team in the world. They went into this match knowing what a massive, monumental challenge it was going to be against the All Blacks. New Zealand did their homework. They challenged Ireland at the breakdown. They came away with some wonderful tries, but realistically it came down to another quarter-final, Ireland's 8th quarter-final, and they didn't play to the level that they would have wanted to. And I look at Johnny Sexton here, the cameras focus in on him. he's a broken man. There's a broken country here. So many Irish supporters, and unfortunately it's not to be.
There are tears from the Ireland fans. There are tears rolling down the faces of the Ireland players, but there is joy for the All Blacks, who continue in this competition. They have won here at the Stade de France. They will play Argentina next week, full time. Ireland 24, New Zealand 28.
Tommy Bowe, the look on Johnny Sexton's face is enough to break your heart.
Johnny Sexton, what an incredible servant to Irish rugby, an incredible servant to world rugby. He is probably the form out half in this competition. He's 38 years of age, playing best rugby of his career, but that is his career over. What does that mean to a man who's given absolutely everything to this game, to never be able to strap on those boots again, never be able to represent his country again? What a crushing way to leave the field, crushing way to leave the competition. And I just have to take my hat off to him too. He was a wonderful teammate, an amazing guy to play against and with, and I'm heartbroken for him. You can see he just doesn't know what to think. He's trying to put on a brave face, and that's the leader and the competitor that he is.
Wow, well, we're just looking down on the touchline. It looks like Ardie Savea has been named as the player of the match, and we're going to be able to hear from him in the next couple of seconds. I can just see him down there shaking his head, just like Johnny Sexton. I don't think anybody can believe it, but let's hear from Savea, who has produced a player of the match display in this World Cup quarter-final. What an absolutely humongous effort it's been from him.
Ardie, I'll let you get your breath back. My goodness, what a game, what a final few minutes there. Tell me about it.
All glory to the man above. A lot riding on this week. It was one of those test matches. It was a battle, and I'm just extremely proud of my boys and to go out there and play against a world-class Irish squad. We gave the fans what they wanted, and a big testament to the Irish team. They've set the light up this whole year, and they've set the standard. And just want to send love to them, man. But yeah, I just so proud of my boys.
What about the effort? The fact you had 2 yellow cards throughout the game as well. What does that say about this group?
To be honest, kind of didn't notice. We just had to dig deep into our blackness, and yeah, we got through in the end.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Ardie Savea, the player of the match for New Zealand, and any second we are going to hear Johnny Sexton, because he is getting ready to say goodbye to the emerald green of Ireland after an absolutely spectacular career. He does not deserve to be in this position of once again going out in the quarter-final of a World Cup. He's just wandering over toward the side of the pitch at the moment, and he will know, Tommy Bowe, he will know that there were a couple of moments in this match where if things had gone different for him personally, it might have got different for Ireland collectively.
He's getting a standing ovation. He's walking over trying to find his family. You can see this is a really difficult moment for him, because he's actually, I've been watching him for the last minute or two, he is fuming. He knew that this game was there for the taking. He knew that Ireland had New Zealand on the rack. They had them there for the taking, and unfortunately just coughing up that penalty in injury time is just such a devastating blow for him. I am devastated, absolutely heartbroken for this Irish team. We have set this World Cup alight, both with the supporters and the rugby that this Irish team have played. And for Johnny Sexton, again, he's going to try and find his kids, because you got to remember, this is a family occasion. This is bigger than rugby, and getting to celebrate with the people who are most important to you.
Yeah, Johnny Sexton, I think he's gone to get his little boy Luca and have a little bit of a cuddle. He's got 3 kids, Luca, Amy and Sophie, who I'm sure are here, but you cannot say more about Johnny Sexton as a player for what he has given. He is 38 years old. That is absolutely ridiculous, the standards that he has played to and maintained for that long. And I think he's gone to his son for some comfort ultimately, hasn't he, Tommy?
Just kissing his head. Sometimes your family coming along, something special like that, maybe puts things a little bit into perspective, that there are bigger things than Rugby World Cups. There are bigger things than getting through a knockout stage, a quarter-final, which you've never done. But kid you not, Johnny Sexton is hurting. He's hurting big time right now. And whatever his son Luca can do to try and help him get over that hurdle, but this is going to sting for a long, long time.
And we can actually see the All Blacks, they're essentially going to give a guard of honour to Johnny Sexton. I don't think this is for Ireland. I think this is purely really for Johnny Sexton. The rest of the team will walk through, but that's for one man. And even Tommy Bowe alongside us is applauding him. And now Sexton is going to encourage his team to give the All Blacks that guard of honour. And let's face it, the All Blacks have gone through today. They are fourth in the world, but it is Ireland who have set the standard.
Let's face it, credit to New Zealand. They thoroughly deserved that performance. They went well ahead numerous times in that match. They had 2 yellow cards and were able to defend the Irish onslaught. And realistically, Ireland didn't turn up with the style. And I've just got covered in a pint. There's a few frustrated Irish supporters. I know how you feel, mate. Unfortunately, this Irish team didn't play to the standard that they have shown in this competition, and that will hurt more than anything, because to get through to the knockout stages, as Andrew sitting here beside me knows, you got to pull out your big games. You got to have your main players, your star players step up to the plate when the going gets tough. And unfortunately today Ireland just weren't able to get that killer edge that puts a team like New Zealand away.
And Andrew Mertens, that was just absolutely compelling sport and sensational defence from New Zealand at the end. Any little error to give away a penalty could have let Ireland in. That whole series seemed to go on for about 6 or 7 minutes. Even a fingernail out of place and you let the opposition back in. What discipline.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was discipline. I mean, it wasn't a 3-point penalty they were conceding. It was a kick to the touchline and a drive over. So they really had to keep their noses absolutely clean. Phenomenal. No team wants to come off the field in this stage of a tournament having not felt they've given it their best. So you've got to feel for Ireland. They don't feel like they gave it their best shot. Part of that was the All Blacks were able to nullify a lot of their game. They'd done their homework. Part of it was naturally nerves, on this big occasion. And part of it was just maybe Ireland, some of the fatigue maybe through the pool stages, which were hard matches, and maybe that played a little bit into it today as well. But things fell for the All Blacks. It wasn't perfect for the All Blacks. They know they've got a bit to work on, but they played, I think, above what their supporters were expecting today, and not above what they themselves were expecting, but perhaps above what the Irish were expecting too.
Ireland walk out the door at the Rugby World Cup for 2023. New Zealand survive. They go on to meet Argentina in the last 4. We're going to do it all again tomorrow. Much more drama, more heartbreak, more elation. England versus Fiji is the first of tomorrow's quarterfinals from Marseille. We'll be back in the Stade de France tomorrow night for the host nation, France against South Africa. Andrew Mertens, Tommy Bowe, Sarah Orchard, thank you all very much indeed. It's been a remarkable night here at the Stade de France, and New Zealand, as they do, just get it done. Stephen Nolan is next with you on 5 Live.